Chapter 1121. It's all a script, decided long ago. The Dark Shadow Clan's movements were swift and neat. The rune turned into a ball of light, enveloping him and teleporting him tens of thousands of miles away to escape. But a second later, the Dark Shadow Clan was horrified to discover that he was still in the same place. The Skeleton King in front of him had already raised his sword high and slashed down. Only then did he realize that the space was locked, and all teleportation devices had lost their due function. If he couldn't escape, then he could only fight to the death. The Dark Shadow Clan burst out with a strong aura, and his dark robe turned into black flames, burning fiercely. The only response he received was the Skeleton King's sword and undead flames. Lin Moyu didn't pay too much attention to the battle between the Skeleton King and the Dark Shadow Clan. The outcome of that battle was already destined from the beginning. Unless another existence like the Abyss Dragon Demon appeared, the Skeleton King would be invincible in this area. The space-fixing pearl locked the space, and the Dark Shadow Clan was doomed to die. There would be no surprises. Shu Jiangxing watched Lin Moyu unhurriedly take out the space-fixing 727 pearl and activate it. The Skeleton King happened to cut Jin Shisen in half, and then chased after the Dark Shadow Clan. Lin Moyu's movements were not fast, but very elegant, as if with a mysterious charm. It was this feeling that made Shu Jiangxing feel fear, as if from the beginning, this battle had fallen into Lin Moyu's calculations. Every step was preset, and was being staged according to the script written by Lin Moyu. The Skeleton King caught up with the Dark Shadow Clan. With the space locked, this Dark Shadow Clan member was likely to die. At this time, Lin Moyu flew towards Jin Shisen. Jin Shisen was severely injured by the slash, but he was still alive, not dead. When Lin Moyu approached, Jin Shisen suddenly burst out with a dazzling golden light. A miniature version of Jin Shisen, covered in golden armor, flew out of his body and shot towards Lin Moyu. Be careful, Shu Jiangxing raised his longbow, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shoot an arrow. Lin Moyu slightly turned his body and changed his angle imperceptibly, blocking Shu Jiangxing's attack route. Shu Jiangxing knew that Lin Moyu didn't want him to act. This made Shu Jiangxing feel even more afraid of Lin Moyu, as if even Jin Shisen's dying counterattack was within his expectations. The fact was indeed so. Lin Moyu had indeed calculated that Jin Shisen would counterattack. So he deliberately approached to lure Jin Shisen to counterattack. Moreover, even the means of Jin Shisen's counterattack had been guessed by him. Soul manifestation, the strongest method of the true God realm. With the realm restricted and unable to use Divine King realm methods, soul manifestation was the only choice. At this moment, Jin Shisen's attack power completely surpassed the true God realm, steadily reaching the first level of the Divine King realm. Soul manifestation has powerful attack power, but its weaknesses are also obvious. The soul is too fragile and easily susceptible to fatal blows. Lin Moyu shook his head gently, it's useless. A corpse appeared in his hand, a corpse of a Divine King realm expert. Most of it had been swallowed by the Abyss Dragon Demon, leaving only some scraps of meat outside. But for Lin Moyu, it was enough to use. Corpse explosion doesn't care whether it's a complete corpse or some scraps of meat. As long as it's a corpse, it can be used. Lin Moyu locked onto Jin Shisen's soul. Jin Shisen's laws frantically contracted, turning into an egg shape again, protecting his soul, as if preparing to defend against Lin Moyu's attack. Lin Moyu didn't immediately use his art. Several skeleton divine generals appeared beside him. The skeleton divine generals swung their long swords and slashed into the void, severing several imperceptible golden threads. This is impossible, how did you find out? Jin Shisen was shocked that his methods had been cracked. He didn't know that the means he used to sneak attack Shu Jiangxing before had been seen by Lin Moyu. Now he wanted to do it again, how could it be possible? Lin Moyu didn't answer him. In the instant the golden threads were severed, corpse explosion had already been activated. Boom! After a loud noise, Jin Shisen's soul let out a shocking scream. The eggshell was shattered, and the golden armor on his body was also blown to pieces. His soul was severely injured, leaving him with only half a life. Jin Shisen screamed and fled back to his body. But even if he escaped, he would have a hard time surviving today. Soul manifestation has too many flaws. Lin Mo lightly sighed, and a large number of skeleton divine generals appeared around him, launching a final attack on Jin Shisen. Jin Shisen screamed, "Brother, save me." His voice exploded like thunder, echoing in the starry sky. Around his neck were several uniquely shaped scales. A full 12 giant scales formed a circle, protecting his neck. At this moment, these scales were activated, transforming into layers of golden light to protect Jin Shisan. Within the golden light, giant golden python after giant golden python appeared. A full 12 gigantic golden python phantoms coiled in the starry sky. Who dares to kill my brother? A vast aura spread through the starry sky, chilling to the bone. Each golden python phantom was at the true Venerable realm, but here, they were suppressed, only able to exert the power of the true God realm. Lin Mo had already seen the divine venerables of the Starfire Python clan, and now he saw the divine venerables of the Golden Python clan, and 12 at once. Lin Mo couldn't help but find it a bit amusing. It seems I really have a connection with snakes. Seeing that Lin Mo could still laugh, the 12 golden pythons were somewhat stunned. Who was this guy? Was he not afraid at all? Human brat, how dare you kill our brother? Do you not want to live? One of the golden pythons said coldly, flicking its tongue, golden flames burning in its eyes. Shu Jiangxing came to Lin Mo's side at this moment, and whispered, what do we do? 12 divine venerable projections, although suppressed, could still unleash attacks at the peak of the true God realm, or even fight across realms. In Shu Jiangxing's eyes, the combat power of divine venerables was incredibly powerful, their mastery of the laws far surpassing that of true gods. Lin Mo didn't care. I'm fine, senior brother Shu. He originally wanted Shu Jiangxing to step back a bit, but suddenly, his gaze fell into the distance, and he smiled faintly. Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements. Shu Jiangxing's soul was not as strong as Lin Mo's. Lin Mo sensed it, but he felt nothing. But the 12 golden python divine venerable projections noticed the newcomers, and simultaneously turned their heads to look into the distance. The direction they looked was exactly the same as the direction Lin Mo looked. Then, Shu Jiangxing also saw it. A cyan longsword, towering and earth-shattering, occupied all their vision. Cyan sword of eternity, cut. A vigorous and forceful voice came, and 10,000 miles of starry sky was enveloped by the cyan longsword. It seemed as if countless stars appeared in the starry sky, and then were severed by the cyan sword. Severing star law, Shu Jiangxing exclaimed softly, a look of astonishment on his face. The severing star law belonged to the second echelon, and was one of the most top-notch laws in the second echelon. Severing stars, severing star systems, even severing galaxies. If one were to discuss the sharpness of laws, among all the laws in the second echelon, the severing star law would be number 1. At this moment, this was the case. As the severing star law fell with this sword, countless stars were born and extinguished within the sword's momentum. Lin Mo felt that Taoist Qing Jian's cultivation had greatly improved compared to before, and the sword's momentum was even sharper. Who are you? We will destroy your human star system and massacre billions of humans to resolve the hatred in our hearts. 13. Your brothers will avenge you. Under one sword strike, the starry sky became clean, and all 12 divine venerable projections were annihilated. Only the half-crippled golden python was left trembling there. Chapter 11:22. If you want 7-colored essence fire, find Lin Mo. Lin boy, this rotten snake is left to you. Taoist Qing Jian's voice came from the starry sky. Lin Mo smiled, thank you, senior. The skeleton king had already returned, carrying half a corpse of a dark shadow race member by a fingertip, like a chick. The dark shadow race member's body was already riddled with holes, and half a robe was still hanging on a pile of minced meat, looking horribly dead. Seeing this scene, Jin Shisan shivered all over. He had long lost his previous momentum, shrinking his half-body and trembling. Don't kill me, Jin Shisan made a final plea with fear. The answer to him was the skeleton king's sword light. The sword light exploded his body, annihilated his soul, and truly turned him into ashes. The Golden Python clan was once one of the races that invaded the human race. Later, although they were not exterminated, they were also crippled by Xiao Zontian, and had an irreconcilable feud with the human race. Later, in order to avoid Xiao Zontian's pursuit, the Golden Python clan left their ancestral land where they had lived for countless years, and went far away to hide in the depths of the starry sky. It was not until Xiao Zontian no longer appeared that they dared to come out and move around again. Lin Mo was decisive in killing. How could he let him go? Tisk tisk tisk, little friend Lin, you're being too wasteful. The scales of the golden python are good materials for refining defensive magical treasures. Your sword strike has thrown away a lot of points. Taoist Qing Jian's figure appeared in the starry sky. Like the first time he saw him, Taoist Qingjian came riding on his sword, with extraordinary bearing. Taoist Qingjian's combat power was strong in that, as a divine king, he directly confronted a divine venerable. Although he did not retreat unscathed, he only suffered minor injuries. This was enough to show that he possessed the strength to fight across realms. Divine King realm cultivators all fought across realms, let alone true God realm cultivators. Even if he was suppressed to the peak of the true God realm, Lin Mo believed that Taoist Qingjian still possessed the combat power of a divine king second order or even third order. Lin Mo respectfully saluted towards Taoist Qingjian. Senior Qingjian, you have saved this junior once again. Taoist Qingjian smiled noncommittally. Lin boy, what nonsense are you talking about? With your boy's combat power, what can those few guys do to you? Lin Mo smiled. Taoist Qingjian understood him. Those were just divine venerable phantoms, looking powerful, but they were nothing. Under the suppressed circumstances, he only needed to use the soul-severing sword to easily deal with them. Xu Jiangxing has met Senior Qingjian. Xu Jiangxing also respectfully saluted towards Taoist Qingjian at this time. Taoist Qingjian glanced at him. Not bad, you didn't disgrace Divine City. Taoist Qingjian was referring to the fact that Xu Jiangxing did not desert in the face of the divine venerable phantoms, but instead fought side by side with Lin Mo. Taoist Qingjian saw it and was very satisfied. Xu Jiangxing respectfully said, the human race watches out for each other and helps each other. We can die in battle, but we cannot abandon our comrades. Jiangxing will never dare to forget this. Taoist Qingjian nodded. Well, I have something to say with Lin boy, if you have nothing else to do. Xu Jiangxing understood. This junior still needs to find 5-colored essence fire, so I will take my leave first. Junior brother Lin, we will meet again if fate allows. We will meet again if fate allows. Senior brother, take care. After a simple farewell, Xu Jiangxing left. Lin Mo was a little strange. Senior Qingjian sent senior brother Xu away. Is there something wrong? Taoist Qingjian chuckled. This old man has nothing to do, but others do. Friend, don't hide, come out. Taoist Qingjian looked towards one side. Lin Mo was shocked and followed Taoist Qingjian's gaze. He didn't expect someone to be hiding nearby, and he didn't even notice. The fact that his senses were so keen and he still couldn't detect it meant that the other party's concealment skills were truly extremely strong, even surpassing the dark shadow race. After Taoist Qingjian finished speaking, the starry sky was still silent, except for the warm currents of flame blowing over. There was no movement. At this time, Taoist Qingjian's cyan sword made a crisp sword sound. Does this mean I have to do it? Hee hee, little fellow, your temper has grown after so many years. A low, raspy voice sounded, and Lin Mo Yu's heart skipped a beat. Someone was indeed there. Taoist Qingjian's eyebrows twitched slightly. The voice sounded familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before. But it had been so long ago that he couldn't quite recall. The person called him, little guy, indicating that they were older than him. A figure emerged from the starry sky, with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes, a face with sharp features, full of the marks of time. The moment Taoist Qingjian saw Zhu Qiwu, he trembled violently and exclaimed, Senior Zhu. Seeing Taoist Qingjian so agitated, Lin Mo Yu realized that the other party's identity was extraordinary. Following Taoist Qingjian's lead, he also cupped his fist in salute. Greetings, Senior. Zhu Qiwu sized up Lin Mo Yu. You are quite remarkable. Thank you for your praise, Senior, Lin Mo Yu said without holding back, accepting the compliment. This Senior Zhu must have been following him all along. The aura on his body was somewhat similar to that of Domain Lord Zhu Tian. If he wasn't mistaken, this senior must have been secretly protecting him. Zhu Qiwu turned to Taoist Qingjian. Qingjian, have you come here to search for the 7-colored spirit fire? Taoist Qingjian nodded in response. Yes, I have. Zhu Qiwu hummed. The 7-colored spirit fire is not easy to find. Taoist Qingjian wore a bitter smile, with a hint of helplessness. Even if it's not easy to find, I still have to look for it. Zhu Qiwu said calmly, if you really want to find the 7-colored spirit fire, perhaps he can help. As he spoke, Zhu Qiwu glanced at Lin Mo Yu. Taoist Qingjian understood Zhu Qiwu's meaning and also looked at Lin Mo Yu, his eyes filled with doubt. Why would Lin Mo Yu be able to help in finding the 7-colored spirit fire? Lin Mo Yu revealed a helpless expression, thinking to himself, this Senior Zhu has indeed been following me from the beginning. It should be related to Domain Lord Zhu Tian, Perhaps Zhu Tian asked him to do it. Lin Moyu made a rough guess about the situation and felt that he was probably right. Zhu Qiwu said, "Since you are here, then I will leave him to you." After saying that, Zhu Qiwu's figure gradually disappeared like a bubble. After Zhu Qiwu left, Taoist Qing Jian sighed, "I didn't expect to meet Senior Zhu here." Lin Moyu asked, "I feel that Senior Zhu and Domain Lord Zhu Tian have some connection." Taoist Qing Jian said casually, "Senior Zhu and Domain Lord Zhu Tian are martial brothers. Senior Zhu's full name is Zhu Qiwu, and he is Domain Lord's senior brother." So that was it. No wonder their auras were so similar. Taoist Qing Jian asked, "Lin boy, tell me, how can you help this old man find the seven-colored spirit fire?" Lin Moyu did not hide anything. Actually, it's not about finding it, but about nurturing it. This junior has a way to nurture spirit fire. Taoist Qing Jian's eyes lit up instantly, and his voice became hurried. "What did you say? You can nurture spirit fire?" Lin Moyu hummed and took out a 5-colored spirit fire. "This is the 5-colored spirit fire that this junior nurtured." Taoist Qing Jian took the 5-colored spirit fire from Lin Moyu's hand and examined it carefully for a while. "There is no difference from ordinary 5-colored spirit fire." "Lin boy, how did you do it?" Lin Moyu explained the method of nurturing 5-colored spirit fire, and Taoist Qing Jian suddenly felt enlightened. "I never thought that spirit fire was produced in this way. It's a pity, without the law of space, how easy would it be to find flash fire?" "Lin boy, you are lucky to have obtained the treasure of the starry sky fishmen." Lin Moyu took out the shell that Yu Qingru had given him. "Is this thing very precious?" Chapter 1123. The Convergence of Great and Small Worlds Through Different Paths. The shell shimmered with a hazy light, with faint fluctuations of law, appearing somewhat mysterious. The law on the shell was the law of space, and only the law of space could detect the location of flash stars and flash fires. Taoist Qing Jian glanced at the shell. "A space artifact, do you think it's precious or not?" Lin Moyu already knew the answer. The preciousness of an artifact containing the law of space was self-evident. He seemed to have asked a silly question. The law of space was a first-tier law, and how rare were the controllers of first-tier laws, let alone the law of space, which was among the best in the first-tier laws. Besides that, the materials that could bear the law of space were also rare. In addition, it had to be refined into a corresponding artifact. The shell in his hand was not simple. He didn't expect Yu Qingru to give him such a precious shell. That was quite interesting. Lin Moyu said, "Senior Qing Jian, let's go find flash fire now and see if we can nurture 7-colored spirit fire." Taoist Qing Jian nodded. "Come with me." Taoist Qing Jian led Lin Moyu deeper into the origin of the spirit fire. The temperature was rising sharply, and Taoist Qing Jian would occasionally look back at Lin Moyu. Seeing that he was not showing any signs of discomfort, he was relieved. Although relieved, he couldn't help but ask, "The closer we get to the center, the higher the temperature will be. Can you hold on?" Lin Moyu smiled. "It's okay. As you know, my strongest point is my defense." Taoist Qing Jian smiled knowingly. "According to what you said, the limit of nurturing spirit fire is related to the strength of the flash fire. We will go to the center to find the strongest flash fire." Lin Moyu was a little strange. "Senior Qing Jian, as far as I know, if you want to sublimate a spell planet into a spell star, generally 5-colored spirit fire is enough. Only a few spells require 6-colored spirit fire." In Lin Moyu's opinion, the more powerful the spell, the more difficult it was to sublimate. Taking himself as an example, his spells were already powerful enough, and using 6-colored spirit fire was enough to sublimate them. He didn't expect Taoist Qing Jian to need 7-colored spirit fire. How strong must his spells be? But the law that Taoist Qing Jian controlled was the star-slaying law. The law and the spell were often matched, and there shouldn't be such a difficult to sublimate spell. Taoist Qing Jian sighed lightly. "When I was young, I didn't know any better. A spell failed twice during sublimation, which led to increasing difficulty. Now, there is only one last chance left. I must find 7-colored spirit fire to be safe." Taoist Qing Jian wore a bitter smile, somewhat helpless. Each time a spell failed to sublimate, the difficulty would increase a lot. And there were only 3 sublimation opportunities in total. If all 3 failed, unless there was a heaven-defying opportunity, it would basically be impossible to sublimate again. The last chance had to be cherished. Taoist Qing Jian sighed. "Impulsiveness when you are young always comes at a price." Saying that, He looked at Lin Moyu meaningfully and said in the tone of someone who had been there, "Don't learn from me. Don't gamble on things you are not sure about. If you lose the gamble, it will be very troublesome." Lin Moyu nodded. This junior understands. How many spells does senior have that need to be sublimated? Taoist Qing Jian was stunned for a moment. Isn't one enough? Only one. That didn't seem too difficult. Lin Moyu said straightforwardly, Senior Qing Jian is indeed powerful. Only one spell is at the planetary level. Just then, a spirit fire howled and flew by. Taoist Qing Jian was originally prepared to avoid it, but when he heard Lin Moyu's words, he was stunned and allowed the spirit fire to hit him. The spirit fire was burning fiercely. Taoist Qing Jian stood in the spirit fire, his face strange. What did you say? I didn't hear clearly. Lin Moyu asked strangely, didn't senior only have one spell that needed to be sublimated? I thought the other spells had all been transformed into stars. Taoist Qing Jian said strangely, don't you know that the number of spells that each person can sublimate is limited, generally 1 or 2, and at most no more than 3. This time it was Lin Moyu's turn to be stunned. There was such a restriction. He still had 4 spells waiting to be sublimated. According to Taoist Qing Jian's statement, wouldn't that be impossible? Seeing that Lin Moyu really didn't know anything, Taoist Qing Jian explained in detail. Lin Moyu pricked up his ears and listened carefully. What Taoist Qing Jian said was information that was not explained in detail in the data. The data was not omnipotent. There was a lot of knowledge that he needed to explore himself, especially some experience-based knowledge points. After Taoist Qing Jian explained, Lin Moyu finally understood. Although the human cultivators in the Great World had spells of varying strengths and numbers, in general, they all had an upper limit. Generally, the total number of spells for each cultivator would not exceed 10. Occasionally, there were some that exceeded that number, but not many. Of these spells, very few could grow into stellar-level spells during the promotion process, generally 1, or even none. If someone could develop 2-star-level spells, they would be considered a genius. The remaining spells would require specific opportunities and special methods to sublimate them, transforming them from planetary level to star level. Moreover, there's a limit to this number, normally it's 1, and at most, it won't exceed 3. Lin Mo noticed many differences when comparing the human cultivators of the Great World with those of the small world where he was born. In the small world where he was born, after job change, they began to cultivate skills, all kinds of skills, at least a dozen, and some even exceeding 30. Although most skills were not very useful, the quantity was substantial. From this perspective, it seemed that the professionals of the small world were much stronger than the cultivators of the Great World. No wonder the Great World cultivators he had encountered, regardless of their race, used only 1 or 2 spells repeatedly. Lin Mo suddenly realized that he seemed to have misunderstood something. That's not right, I've misunderstood. He immediately asked, Senior Green Sword, generally speaking, how many planetary-level spells can a cultivator have? Green Sword Taoist said, generally, no more than 5. During the growth process, useless spells will be discarded, and only useful spells will be retained with all efforts. The more spells retained, the higher the difficulty of promotion. Even geniuses will only choose 1 or 2 spells during promotion and try to sublimate them to the star level. That's right, Lin Mo finally understood. He had always used himself as an example, which is why he misunderstood. He was special, just an individual case, and couldn't be used for the majority. In the small world, most professionals, after reaching the god level, only retained a few spells. It wasn't that they didn't want to retain more spells, but the more spells they had, the greater the difficulty. From this point of view, it corresponded with the cultivators in the Great World. The small world job changers and the Great World cultivators started on 2 different paths, but after reaching a certain level, the 2 paths converged. Different paths leading to the same destination, that's right. Chapter 1124. 9-star spells. Not existing. After repeated inquiries, Green Sword Taoist was very patient and told Lin Mo everything he knew without any concealment. Our human race doesn't have many spells, unlike some races that possess dozens of spells. But we strive for excellence, seeking strength rather than quantity. I once read some ancient materials, which said that a long time ago, our human race also pursued the quantity of spells, and everyone mastered at least 20 or 30 spells. But times have changed, and that method of seeking quantity over quality is not suitable for our human race. Since Shao War God single-handedly reversed the situation, our human race has learned from the pain and no longer pursues quantity but seeks quality. Now it seems that this path is correct. Although the quantity is not large, the combat power of the human race has increased. Green Sword Taoist sighed for a while, and from his words, it could be heard that he admired Shao War God very much and could be said to be a staunch fan of Shao War God. Lin Mo even wondered why Green Sword Taoist didn't join the War God Temple. After all, with Green Sword Taoist's talent and combat power, it shouldn't be difficult to join the War God Temple. But Lin Mo finally understood why Antares didn't feel too surprised when he saw that he had so many skills and spells. The human cultivators of the past did possess a large number of spells. The dragon race was the same, and the number of spells might be even larger. The two continued to move towards the center of the essence fire source. Green Sword Taoist said with a smile, "Now you understand, this spell thing, it's more about quality than quantity, mastering one trick is enough to travel the world, that's the truth. Just like this old man, I only use one trick, but I ask, who in the same realm can block it?" When he said this, he turned his head and glanced at Lin Mo, and added, "Of course, you little freak are an exception." Hearing what Green Sword Taoist said was good, Lin Mo also had his own ideas, but with more spells, can't they form multi-star spells? Green Sword Taoist smiled, "Hee, it's very good that you can think of this level. It is precisely because of this that the human race was once divided into two factions, and some people firmly believed that multi-star spells were the strongest. Multi-star spells are indeed very strong and can greatly increase combat power. But similarly, it is very difficult to form multi-star spells. Those who insisted on forming multi-star spells became fewer and fewer as time passed, and eventually the human race chose a compromise." Speaking of this, Green Sword Taoist smiled mysteriously, "Want to know?" Lin Mo nodded, "Please enlighten me, senior." Green Sword Taoist took out a wine gourd and took a big gulp. "Actually, it's not a secret. If you had a master, you would probably have been told long ago." After drinking a few sips of strong wine, Green Sword Taoist's chatterbox opened, and he began to talk endlessly. Lin Mo once again learned about the human race's approach. At that time, led by Shao War God, the human race, after thousands of years of exploration and research, finally the high-level officials decided to change the human race's cultivation method for spells. The first step was to change from pursuing quantity to pursuing quality, but it couldn't be pursued randomly. That would involve the second step. In the second step, when choosing spells, they needed to be selected specifically. For this reason, the human race spent thousands of years classifying spells and forming a complete system of enormous scale. Inside, many spells were classified into different systems. As long as spells within the same system were selected, there was a high probability of forming multi-star spells. For example, for a set of spells belonging to the law of fire, cultivators could choose one or two powerful spells that were relatively difficult to cultivate as their main spells. Then choose a few easy-to-learn but not powerful spells of the same kind. After sublimating them all into star-level spells, there is a high chance of forming multi-star spells. In this way, the difficulty of cultivation is greatly reduced, but the bonus of multi-star spells to the main spells is substantial. This cultivation model has become more and more mature after thousands of years of evolution. Facts have proved that it is very practical and not weak. It's simple, but multi-star spells are still the patent of geniuses. Ordinary cultivators can only transform one star-level spell at most, and two if they are lucky. How could they form any multi-star spells? Multi-star spells only greatly increase in power after 3 stars, so ordinary people can just take a look. ABDF Green Sword Taoist said with a smile, "Now you understand." Lin Mo wasn't stupid, how could he not understand, and at the same time, he had already seen through the advantages and disadvantages of this cultivation method. Green Sword Taoist saw Lin Mo's expression and said with a smile, "If you have any ideas, just say them." Through contact with Lin Mo, Green Sword Taoist knew that Lin Mo had his own ideas. It was very interesting to talk to Lin Mo, not like teaching other juniors, where he said something and that was it. Lin Mo was very good at drawing inferences from one instance, and he could think of 2 or 3 things when he only said one. Lin Mo said his inner thoughts, "This cultivation method is good, but it can't produce top experts." Green Sword Taoist asked, "What kind of expert do you think is a top expert?" Lin Mo thought for a while, "Absolute cultivation, multi-star spells above 7 stars, that should be about it." Green Sword Taoist suddenly laughed, making Lin Mo a little confused. After laughing for a long time, Green Sword Taoist reopened, but the smile in his eyes couldn't be concealed. You really dare to think, 7-star spells. Do you know how difficult 7-star spells are? Even those top geniuses don't dare to think about 7-star spells. Throughout the history of our human race, there are no more than 10 people who can reach 7-star spells. Lin Mo said with surprise, so few. Green Sword Taoist immediately said, not few, it should be said that there are many. Go and see other races, don't look at the fact that they may have dozens of spells, but most of them are useless. Just sublimating into a star is already difficult for most people. The more spells, the more difficult it is to sublimate. Lin Mo continued to ask, then in the human race, has there ever been a 9-star spell? Originally, Lin Mo wanted to ask who had the highest multi-star spell in the human race, but after thinking about it, he felt that it was not appropriate to ask that way, so he changed his way of asking. Green Sword Taoist said, Shao War God has a set of 8-star spells. This is also not a secret, you can find out by checking the information. 8-star spells are truly top-notch in the great world. As for 9-star spells, I have never heard of them. There was an additional layer of worship in his tone. It is conceivable that Shao War God saved the human race from fire and water with absolute strength, sweeping across all races with his own strength. One of the important reliance was the 8-star spell. Lin Mo muttered to himself, could it be that there are no 9-star spells in the great world? Green Sword Taoist shook his head, that's a legendary thing, don't aim too high. Don't talk about 9-star spells, being able to reach 6-star spells is already standing at the peak of the great world. During the conversation, the two unknowingly came to the central area. This area is filled with stellar essence fires. Giant blue stars burn fiercely, emitting scorching light. It is the source of all stellar essence fires, the core of Area 5 to 38. Lin Mo Yu was now only tens of millions of kilometers away from the blue star, extremely close. He faintly saw something in the center of the blue star and blurted out, what is that? Chapter 1125. 9-colored lotus flower, cultivating 7-colored essence fire. Lin Mo Yu saw a peculiar flame in the center of the blue star. This flame, like a lotus flower, bloomed wantonly in the star. The lotus had 9 petals, colored red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, black, and white respectively, dazzlingly bright. Lin Mo Yu's exclamation caught Qingjian Daoren's attention. Qingjian Daoren followed Lin Mo Yu's gaze, looking with doubt, what's wrong? Lin Mo Yu said, there's a lotus flower, a 9-colored lotus flower. Qingjian Daoren was slightly stunned, looking carefully, but still saw nothing. Are you seeing things? Is it too hot here, causing hallucinations? The temperature here already exceeded 200 million degrees, which would be very uncomfortable even for ordinary god kings. As for true god realm experts at their peak, they would be directly burned to ashes. Even Shu Jianxing wouldn't dare to come here. Lin Mo Yu was already an anomaly to be able to stand here steadily. Lin Mo Yu naturally knew that he couldn't be mistaken. The 9-colored lotus flower was right there. He could even see the patterns on the petals, so how could he be mistaken? But it was also a fact that Qingjian Daoren couldn't see it. This made things interesting. He could see it, but Qingjian Daoren couldn't. This was truly unexpected. Lin Mo Yu didn't dwell on the issue. The shell in his hand suddenly emitted a bright light, and an arrow appeared simultaneously. Essence flash, let's go. Lin Mo Yu shouted in a low voice, immediately flying in the direction indicated by the arrow. Qingjian Daoren's heart stirred, and he quickly followed. After they left, Zhu Qiwu's figure reappeared in the dark void. He said he left, but he actually hadn't. With Qingjian Daoren around, Lin Mo Yu's safety was not a concern. But he was still curious about Lin Mo Yu, so he continued to follow secretly. With Zhu Qiwu's realm, he was previously discovered by Qingjian Daoren because he wanted to protect Lin Mo Yu at the time. A slight fluctuation was produced, and later it was covered by Qingjian Daoren's law domain, which is why Qingjian Daoren discovered him. If he was more careful, it would be difficult for Qingjian Daoren to detect his existence with his realm. He heard what Lin Mo Yu said and looked up at the blue star. In his vision, a 9-colored lotus flower was in the center of the blue star, incomparably dazzling. A hint of surprise was revealed in Zhu Qiwu's eyes, to be able to see the 9-colored lotus flower, a 4th-grade peak soul, maybe even a jade soul giving birth to purple. If the jade soul gives birth to purple, this child will be extraordinary. Let's see, having seen the 9-colored lotus flower, he shouldn't give up, right? But it's dangerous. It seems I still have to keep an eye on him. Zhu Qiwu muttered to himself, disappearing into the starry sky again. Following the guidance of the shell, Lin Moyu and Qingjian Daoren quickly arrived at the location where the essence flash was about to appear. Lin Moyu looked around. There are 451 stellar essence fires here. Normally, a 5-colored essence fire should form. If we want to turn it into a 6-colored essence fire, I estimate a total of 800 essence fires will be needed. As for a 7-colored essence fire, it should take 1600 essence fires. Without even thinking, Qingjian Daoren immediately said, "This old man will go collect essence fires now." As he spoke, he was about to take action, but Lin Moyu quickly stopped him. "No need, I have them here." As Lin Moyu spoke, he took out a large number of stellar essence fires and placed them around. Seeing Lin Moyu take out so many stellar essence fires, Qingjian Daoren was stunned for a moment. "Did you collect all of these?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "Basically, they were all robbed from killing people." Qingjian Daoren murmured, "How many people have you killed, kid?" While taking out essence fires, Lin Moyu said, "Not many, just a few dozen. Mainly, they wanted to kill me, but I killed them instead." Qingjian Daoren was a little speechless. "I can only say those guys were too blind." "No, mainly your realm is too deceptive." Lin Moyu chuckled and didn't say much. He took out 400 stellar essence fires and stopped. The essence flash's mutation of essence fire has a limit. If the limit is exceeded, it may collapse. So Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry, taking it one step at a time, focusing on stability. After arranging everything, the two retreated far away, waiting for the essence flash to appear. Half an hour later, all the stellar essence fires suddenly flickered collectively. This phenomenon was different from the essence flash appearances Lin Moyu had seen before, indicating that this essence flash was also different. In this case, it was really possible to form a 7-colored essence fire. A stellar essence fire was impacted by the essence flash and began to mutate. The mutation speed was very fast. In less than a minute, it had already devoured all the surrounding stellar essence fires. A full 850 stellar essence fires. If no more were added, it would eventually become a 6-colored essence fire. After a large amount of cultivation, Lin Moyu was already very experienced. Looking at its appearance, he knew it could continue to be cultivated and strengthened. He quickly took out another 100 stellar essence fires and threw them in. Then, after sensing it, he found it was still stable, so he continued to invest. 0A seeking fresh flowers AAAAAA. Investing in it time and time again, in the blink of an eye, it had already absorbed 1550 stellar essence fires. At this time, Lin Moyu felt that the mutating essence fire was beginning to become unstable. Qingjian Daoren also sensed it. "It's going to explode." Lin Moyu shook his head. "Not yet, it can continue." It was only just beginning to become unstable, it was still far from exploding. Continuing to invest stellar essence fires, but the speed of investment began to slow down. Before, it was 100 each time, now, it became 10. And after each investment, Lin Moyu would carefully sense it. Compared to Qingjian Daoren, he understood the extreme-grade stellar essence fire even better. The extreme-grade stellar essence fire was becoming more and more unstable. The original flame had become a ferocious beast with sharp thorns growing everywhere. 0. But Lin Moyu still didn't mean to stop. Qingjian Daoren had already begun to prepare. If the stellar essence fire exploded, the power wouldn't be too small. Even he might suffer serious injuries. If it were him, he would have wanted to stop long ago. But now, the leader was Lin Moyu, and Lin Moyu obviously didn't mean to stop. After the essence fire investment reached 1590, Lin Moyu slowed down again, beginning to release them one by one. Although the speed slowed down, the release was still stable. Lin Moyu seemed to maintain a special rhythm, which looked very comfortable. Qingjian Daoren watched for a while and finally understood a little. Lin Moyu was not releasing them randomly, but was precisely matching the rhythm of the star's essence fire pulsation. Each time he released essence fire, the fluctuations caused were very weak, trying to maintain the stability of the essence fire mutation. 1599. Lin Moyu took out the last essence fire, and after observing for a few seconds, he steadily released it. At the moment of input, Lin Moi pulled Qingjian Daorin back quickly. Qingjian Daorin asked strangely, "What's wrong?" Lin Moi whispered, "Just in case." Lin Moi was prepared for both hands, and he never relaxed his vigilance when releasing essence fire. Not only must he be bold, but also careful. Fortunately, the unexpected that Lin Moi was worried about did not happen. With a soft sound, the essence fire mutation completely ended. A essence fire flashing with colorful light swayed and danced in the starry sky. Around it, 7 colors of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, like a rainbow, formed a circle, surrounding it, incomparably beautiful. Chapter 11:26. Good luck, or bad luck? Qingjian Daorin said excitedly, "It's done, it's really done." This was the first time Lin Moi had seen Qingjian Daorin so excited. In his impression, Qingjian Daorin was fearless and calm even when facing the God Emperor. But now, for a 7-colored essence fire, he had become so excited, even a little out of control. Qingjian Daorin finally calmed down and realized that he seemed to be too excited. "I'm sorry, I was too excited just now. It's just that the 7-colored essence fire is too important to me." Lin Moi smiled and said, "Then Senior, absorb it now, Junior will protect you." Qingjian Daorin did not hesitate, and immediately flew into the essence fire, opened his mouth and sucked, directly swallowing the 7-colored essence fire into his mouth. Flames immediately ignited on Qingjian Daorin's body, and a rainbow-like 7-colored halo lingered around him, setting off Qingjian Daorin like an immortal. He knew that Qingjian Daorin was doing his best to absorb the 7-colored essence fire, and sublimating his technique, 363. Lin Moi did not disturb him, and with a thought, the undead army appeared around to be vigilant. From the perspective of the undead army, even the Shadow Clan could not hide their figures. But Lin Moi also knew that he could not find the existence of Zhu Qiwu even with the undead perspective. That was the difference in realm level. After the difference between each other reached a certain level, it could not be compensated by small means. The process of Qingjian Daorin's absorption was very smooth, and the flames on his body were gradually extinguishing. Every time the flame weakened, Qingjian Daorin's aura became stronger. Lin Moi knew that his technique was sublimating, and it must be a multi-star technique. If it was not a multi-star technique, Qingjian Daorin would not value it so much. Lin Moi did not relax for a moment, and still guarded the surroundings firmly. There were not many people who came to the origin of essence fire, especially those who came to the central area were even fewer. From the cultivation of the 7-colored essence fire to the absorption of the 7-colored essence fire by Qingjian Daorin, no one came to disturb the whole process. Compared with other star essence fire groups, this place seemed too quiet, so quiet that it was a little unreal. After a few hours, Qingjian Daorin finally absorbed the 7-colored essence fire. The soul jumped out from the top of his head, and a cyan long sword appeared above the soul. This was Qingjian Daorin's natal magic weapon. Above the tip of the Qingjian sword, 6 stars sparkled. 6-star technique. Lin Moi saw that Qingjian Daorin's technique star was a complete set of multi-star techniques, and it was also a rare 6-star technique. Qingjian Daorin's previous technique was a 5-star technique, and its power was already very great, enough for him to fight across borders. Now that it had become a 6-star technique, its power would be greatly increased again. In other words, Qingjian Daorin was now stronger, and it was estimated that he could really fight the God Emperor. With a soft buzz, the soul, the long sword, and the technique stars were all taken back into the body. Qingjian Daorin opened his eyes, and a sharp sword light flashed in his eyes. Lin Moi felt as if he had been cut by a sharp sword, and his skin felt a tingling sensation. Qingjian Daorin not only formed a 6-star technique, but also obviously had a deeper understanding of the law, and his cultivation realm had also become stronger. These were all normal phenomena, and Lin Moi could understand. When he sublimated Summon Skeleton King into a technique star, his cultivation also reached the 2nd level of True God from the 1st level of True God. If you pay the price, there will naturally be a reward. Every drink and peck has a cause and effect, and the great world has laws. Qingjian Daorin laughed excitedly. Now there is no regret, I can finally break through to the God Emperor with peace of mind. Lin Moi was also happy for Qingjian Daorin. Congratulations, Senior. Qingjian Daorin waved his hand. This time, thanks to you. Now I'm fine, you can continue to cultivate the 7-colored essence fire, and I will guard you. I want to see who dares to disturb you. At this time, Qingjian Daorin was high-spirited and full of fighting spirit. Just completed the sublimation of the technique. If anyone with no eyes comes over, Qingjian Daorin will let him see how powerful the 6-star technique is. Lin Moi also really needed to cultivate the 7-colored essence fire, which was also his purpose for coming here. Since Qingjian Daorin was willing to protect him, Lin Moi naturally accepted it calmly. He began to look for the whereabouts of the flash fire in the origin of essence fire. With the magical effect of the shell, the process of finding the flash fire was not troublesome. Lin Moi was lucky and soon found a new flash fire. But this time, it was only cultivated into a 6-colored essence fire. Even the flash fire in the origin of essence fire cannot guarantee that it can definitely cultivate a 7-colored essence fire. The 7-colored essence fire, as the highest level existence among the best star essence fires, is not so easy to cultivate. In the next 10 days, Lin Moi successively cultivated 5 6-colored essence fires. Now, Lin Moi was also a little helpless. He was indeed lucky and could always find flash fires. But he was also very unlucky and could never cultivate a 7-colored essence fire. The one Qingjian Daorin had before now seemed to be really lucky. Qingjian Daorin said with a smile, "Don't worry, there will always be one, haste makes waste." Lin Moi nodded, "Yes, I understand." Lin Moi was very patient. Although he lamented his bad luck, he was not in a hurry. This matter completely depends on luck, and being anxious is useless. At most, he would wash his face and hands to see if he could bring good luck. Finally, on the 18th day, when he found the flash fire for the 8th time, he finally successfully cultivated a 7-colored essence fire. Haha, finally there is one, it's worth a toast. Getting the 7-colored essence fire, Qingjian Daorin seemed happier than Lin Moi. He took out the wine gourd and gulped it down. Lin Moi could feel that Qingjian Daorin was sincerely happy for him. Lin Moi said, "Well, thank you for your hard work these days, senior." Qingjian Daorin said, "Then you absorb it, and I will protect you." Lin Moi shook his head, "It's not time yet, one 7-colored essence fire is not enough." Qingjian Daorin was slightly taken aback, "Do you have other techniques?" Lin Moi nodded, "There are a few." Qingjian Daorin raised his eyebrows, "A few?" Lin Moi said, "Including this one, there are still 3 7-colored essence fires missing. If Senior has something to do, you can leave first, and Junior will find them myself." Green Sword Daorin waved his hand, "That's not what I meant." "So, you have a total of 4 techniques to sublimate." "No, there are 5. I've already sublimated 1, so there are 4 left." Green Sword Daorin frowned slightly, 5. I've seen you display more than 1 stellar level technique before. How many techniques do you have in total, kid? Lin Moi was a little embarrassed and didn't tell the whole truth for the first time, 20. In fact, he had a full 27 techniques, not counting fusion techniques and the soul-soothing spell. If fusion techniques and the soul-soothing spell were included, the total number of techniques would reach an astonishing 31. Such a number of techniques could be called the first among the human race. Even in the great world, not many races could compare to Lin Moi. Green Sword Daorin was also taken aback by the number of Lin Moi's techniques, so many techniques are rare even among the human race in the past. Then he suddenly exclaimed, "No, how many techniques did you say you still need to sublimate?" 4. Green Sword Daorin said, "Could it be that your other techniques have all reached the stellar level?" Lin Moi was a little embarrassed and nodded cautiously. PFF'd. Green Sword Daorin spat out a mouthful of old wine, spraying it 100 kilometers. Chapter 11:27. Things that shouldn't be said, don't say. The old wine sprayed onto a stellar essence fire, immediately stirring up a cloud of white smoke. Lin Moi looked at Green Sword Daorin strangely, wondering why he was so excited. Antares wasn't this excited back then. It seems Green Sword Daorin's composure is not as good as Antares. Green Sword Daorin stared blankly at Lin Moi, his eyes filled with disbelief. His eyes were as if he were looking at a freak. "Lin kid, what about your multi-star techniques?" Before he could finish speaking, he suddenly shuddered. He immediately realized, "It's my fault for being talkative. I shouldn't have asked. Just pretend I didn't say anything." Lin Moi laughed, "It's nothing." Green Sword Daorin shook his head repeatedly, "What shouldn't be asked, shouldn't be asked. This is the rule. Don't answer, kid, and don't tell anyone in the future. This is your secret, keep it to yourself. Once you say it, I'm afraid it will bring you a death wish." Lin Moyu asked strangely, why would it be like this? Does Senior intend to sell out Junior? Green Sword Daorin shook his head, it's not like that, but because walls have ears. It's too troublesome to explain. You'll understand in the future. Anyway, just don't say it. Listening to advice is always a good idea. Seeing Green Sword Daorin so serious, Lin Moyu didn't dare to be careless. There might really be some secrets he wasn't aware of. Antares had also warned him that after arriving in the Great World, some things couldn't be said, not even to his closest relatives. It seems it's not about fearing someone selling him out, but about the phrase, walls have ears. Lin Moyu nodded, I understand, thank you, Senior Green Sword. Green Sword Daorin shook his head, let's continue. Lin Moyu hummed and quickly put away the 7-colored essence fire, then continued searching for the whereabouts of Flash Fire. Lin Moyu flew ahead, with Green Sword Daorin following behind. His eyes showed a hint of relief, and he glanced to the side imperceptibly, thinking to himself, fortunately, I was reminded, I almost forgot myself. This wine is really a bit misleading. Green Sword Daorin thought, putting away the wine gourd. Just now, he was a bit tipsy and almost asked something he shouldn't have. Fortunately, Zhu Qiwu suddenly told him to shut up, interrupting his words, so there were no later events. Time passed day by day. Almost every 2 days, a flash fire could be found, but flash fires that could form 7-colored essence fire were rare. Most of them could only form 6-colored essence fire. After searching for more than 30 days, Lin Moyu finally collected the 4 7-colored essence fires he needed. By this time, the number of 6-colored essence fires in his hand had reached 40. 46 colored essence fires, plus 4 7-colored essence fires, consumed most of the stellar essence fire in his hand. Originally, he had a full 50,000 5-colored essence fires, but now he only had 20,000 left. For others, this was still a huge number. In fact, Lin Moyu also discovered that there were many ordinary stellar essence fires. As long as one could come to the essence fire source, they were everywhere, and it wouldn't take long to collect a lot. It's just that people who can come here no longer look down on ordinary stellar essence fire and won't deliberately collect it. What they need more are 6-colored or 7-colored essence fires. Green Sword Daorin exhaled, the 7-colored essence fires are all collected. Is it time to absorb them? Lin Moyu hummed, almost. As he spoke, he turned to look at the blue star. The blue star, with a diameter of over 1,000,000 kilometers, burned fiercely before his eyes, constantly emitting heat. At its center, a 9-colored lotus was so enchanting, as if constantly dancing with the fire. He thought silently in his heart, should I go take a look? This thought had been growing for some time. From the first time he saw the 9-colored lotus, Lin Moyu had this idea, should he go take a look? He knew that the 9-colored lotus must be an extraordinary treasure, but the blue star must also be very dangerous. He hesitated, unable to make up his mind. Seeing Lin Moyu in a daze, Green Sword Daorin couldn't help but ask, what's wrong? Is there still a problem? Lin Moyu shook his head, it's nothing. After thinking about it, he decided to take things one step at a time and let nature take its course. At this moment, a faint spatial fluctuation came, and Zhu Qiwu appeared before the two of them. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned, then clasped his fist towards Zhu Qiwu, greetings, Senior Zhu. What are your instructions for returning, Senior Zhu? Green Sword Daorin's mouth twitched. This guy hadn't left at all, okay. Zhu Qiwu's sharp eyes seemed a little serious. He looked at Green Sword Daorin, Green Sword, leave first. I have something to say to little friend Lin. Green Sword Daorin muttered in his heart, this sounded familiar. He remembered that he seemed to have said something similar to Xu Jiangxing. What goes around comes around, and it happened to him so quickly. Green Sword Daorin didn't dare to disobey Zhu Qiwu's instructions and immediately bowed to Zhu Qiwu, Green Sword obeys. He gave Lin Moyu a look of reassurance and quickly left. However, he was very puzzled in his heart. He didn't quite understand what Zhu Qiwu wanted to do with Lin Moyu. But this trip was very satisfactory for him. He successfully obtained the 7-colored essence fire and made up for the last link in his cultivation. After returning, he could safely break through to the god Venerable realm. Thinking of this, Green Sword Daorin's eyes flashed with brilliance, as if a sharp sword was shattering the galaxy, incomparably sharp. Come with me. Zhu Qiwu turned and flew towards the blue star. Lin Moyu followed immediately without hesitation. Lin Moyu didn't know what Zhu Qiwu wanted to do, but he knew that Zhu Qiwu would definitely not harm him. He was Zhu Tian's senior brother and was secretly taking care of him at Zhu Tian's request. Obviously, he wouldn't harm him. The two were getting closer and closer to the blue star, and the temperature began to rise sharply again. Lin Moyu didn't feel much about the high temperature. He was completely immune to the high temperature caused by pure elements. When they were still 5.00133 million kilometers away from the blue star, Zhu Qiwu stopped. This was a void, a very strange void. Stellar essence fire came from the blue star. During these days here, Lin Moyu had seen stellar essence fire fly out of the blue star more than once. However, there was a vacuum zone between the stellar essence fire and the blue star. There were no flames in this area, only high temperatures. The shell in his hand also didn't react, indicating that there were no flash fires within a radius of 500,000 kilometers. Zhu Qiwu reached out and swiped in the void, and a silver halo appeared in the starry sky. A silver halo exploded in the starry sky, turning into a cloud of silver mist that enveloped tens of thousands of kilometers, completely shrouding the two within. Zhu Qiwu said, "You can absorb the seven-colored essence fire now. I'll protect you." Lin Moyu was shocked. Zhu Qiwu was personally protecting him. This kind of treatment was something no one else in the entire Vermilion Bird Starfield could receive. Lin Moyu felt somewhat undeserving of such favor. Without hesitation, he immediately began absorbing the essence fire. The silver mist concealed his aura and also masked his presence. The silver mist couldn't be sensed with the soul, and the amazing thing was that even when close by, the silver mist couldn't be seen with the naked eye. Only by entering it could one discover the mist. Zhu Qiwu's methods were beyond the understanding of those at the God King or True God Peak levels. Chapter 1128. Absorbing Essence Fire, Sublimating Stars. 4 7-colored essence fires burned within his soul world. 7 colored halos rotated around the essence fires, like circular rainbows, appearing exceptionally beautiful. Corpse explosion, fusion degree 40%, damage transfer, fusion degree 50%, strong soldiers, fusion degree 50%, force gathering, fusion degree 99%. Currently, there were 4 remaining planetary level spells. Lin Moyu believed that each spell could be sublimated into a star-level spell by using one 7-colored essence fire. First, corpse explosion. Lin Moyu softly shouted, his soul force like a large hand, grabbing one of the 7-colored essence fires and throwing it onto the spell planet representing corpse explosion. Accompanied by Lin Moyu's will, the spell planet buzzed and began to rotate violently, greedily absorbing the 7-colored essence fire. In an instant, flames ignited on the spell planet, and the 7-colored halo transferred to the spell planet as well. Lin Moyu coordinated with the 7-colored essence fire, continuously pouring soul force into it. The soul force became nourishment for the 7-colored essence fire, causing it to burn even more vigorously. The spell planet hummed, its aura rapidly increasing. Lin Moyu could feel the fusion degree of corpse explosion rapidly increasing. The effect of the 7-colored essence fire was much better than that of the 5-colored essence fire. The increase in spell fusion degree encountered no bottlenecks and increased very easily. The spell planet was completely ignited, beginning its transformation toward a spell star. Soul force was continuously supplied, and the soul world began to experience slight tremors. The spell sublimation reached its most critical moment, and the 7-colored halo began to shrink, entering the spell planet. The flames became even more intense, and the firelight illuminated the entire soul world. Every spell star in the soul world emitted a buzzing sound. They were resonating, cheering, as if welcoming the addition of a new partner. Accompanied by a violent explosion, the soul world shook violently. Lin Moyu once again saw that small black hole. On the other side of the black hole, the Great World Rune quietly lay there, covered in cracks. Outside the Great World Rune, countless small runes also floated. Lin Moyu saw it a little more clearly than last time, confirming that each small rune was a law. It could be said to be the embodiment of the ultimate form of law, belonging to the true origin. As long as he could obtain one of these runes, he could completely control that law. Subsequently, he saw that the small runes representing laws were connected to the Great World Rune. Strands of starlight connected the two together. But then, he saw another scene. Boom! The scene before him shattered, and his will returned to his body. Half a second had passed. In the last instant, Lin Moyu seemed to see some unusual scenes. Unfortunately, the time was too short, and in the end, he couldn't see clearly as the black hole had already closed. Corpse explosion officially sublimated from a planetary level spell into a star level spell. Vast energy radiated from the star. After becoming a star, its power fed back into Lin Mo Yu, thereby enhancing his soul power. Lin Mo Yu was very familiar with this process and wasn't surprised at all. Every time a spell transformed into a star, there would be feedback. His soul grew stronger, and insights into the undying law came one after another, rapidly increasing his understanding of the law. Lin Mo Yu's aura was also rapidly strengthening. Zhu Qiwu sensed Lin Mo Yu's changes and nodded slightly, seemingly in affirmation of Lin Mo Yu. In fact, using 7-colored essence fire to sublimate a spell was bound to succeed. It would be strange if it didn't. Zhu Qiwu's gaze penetrated the silver mist, looking towards the blue star. He could also see the 9-colored lotus within the blue star. A look of hesitation flashed in his eyes as he muttered to himself, "Can it really be done? The danger is great, but if it succeeds, the benefits will be great as well." In the end, it's up to him to decide. It was evident that he was also somewhat hesitant, unsure whether to let Lin Mo Yu go. After thinking for a long time, he decided to leave the decision to Lin Mo Yu himself. A moment later, Lin Mo Yu's aura quickly returned to calm, no longer increasing. The feedback had ended. Lin Mo Yu was still at the 2nd stage of True God, but he was very close to the 3rd stage of True God. After all, this time he only sublimated 1 spell star. Unlike the previous Summoned Skeleton King, which also formed a 9-star spell, the power fed back wasn't as strong as before. Not reaching the 3rd stage of True God was also within Lin Mo Yu's expectations. Lin Mo Yu wasn't disappointed. Instead, he checked the spell information. Corpse explosion fusion degree 110% detonates a corpse or remains, dealing damage equivalent to 110% of the corpse's life force before death to the locked target. Can attack multiple targets simultaneously, but the more targets, the more the damage will be weakened and distributed. First of all, the damage was increased. Previously, the fusion degree was 40%, and the base damage was also 40% of the corpse's life force before death. After being increased by his talent, the damage dealt was equivalent to about 120 times the corpse's full strength attack before death. After sublimating into a spell star, the damage increased from 40% to 110%, still equivalent to the fusion degree. After being increased by his talent, the damage reached 330 times the corpse's life force before death. In this way, it was enough to complete a kill against a higher-level opponent. According to Lin Mo Yu's estimation, if he detonated the corpse of a 1st-stage God King, it would be enough to kill a 3rd-stage God King. Surpassing 2 stages was no problem. The power had increased a lot. But the increase in damage wasn't the most important change in the spell. The most important change in the spell was that the distance restriction was gone. Previously, the distance was a 400-meter range. Even with talent enhancement, it was only 120,000 meters, which was 120 kilometers. In the starry sky, this distance was really pitifully short, almost point-blank range. Now, the distance restriction was gone. The range that the soul could lock onto was the range that the spell could attack. That is to say, enemies within a range of hundreds of thousands, or even millions of kilometers, were all targets he could attack. Moreover, he could attack not just one target at the same time, but multiple targets simultaneously. However, the explosive power would be weakened accordingly as the number of targets increased. The improvement and changes in the spell were still within Lin Mo Yu's expectations. Lin Mo Yu was very satisfied with these changes. Corpse explosion, as one of his main offensive means, could finally truly play a role. In the soul world, the spell star representing corpse explosion hung proudly on one side, maintaining a certain distance from the other spell stars. It revealed its own pride, and at the same time, it was telling Lin Mo Yu its power. No need for any multi-star spells, it alone was enough to stand on its own. The fact was indeed so. If any cultivator could obtain corpse explosion with just such a spell, they could dominate the great world. If anyone was unconvinced, just blow them up. Lin Mo Yu composed his mind and began the 2nd sublimation. This time, he chose the last passive spell, Damage Transfer. Damage Transfer fusion degree 50%. All damage received is reduced by half and borne by the summoned creature. This spell appeared when he first changed jobs and had accompanied him to this day. Damage Transfer had played a vital role in his ability to cultivate smoothly to this point. Lin Mo was full of anticipation, wanting to see what kind of changes the damage transfer would undergo after sublimating into a law star, and whether it would match his expectations. Chapter 1129. Upgrading from a freak to a monster. Damage transfer completely absorbed the 7-colored essence fire and began to burn fiercely. The whole process was no different from before. Lin Mo didn't need to do anything, he just needed to continuously provide soul power. Soul power was being consumed rapidly, and the talent tree was constantly replenishing Lin Mo's soul power. The consumption speed and replenishment speed were basically the same, and Lin Mo could maintain this state for a long time without worrying about insufficient soul power. For Lin Mo, this was a very common thing, but this scene, in Zhu Qiwu's eyes, was not the same. Zhu Qiwu looked at Lin Mo with surprise in his eyes, scrutinizing him. So fast, it's starting again. Sublimating laws required not only essence fire but also a huge amount of soul power. The demand for soul power was so high that if it were an ordinary True God Stage 2, they simply couldn't supply it. At least True God Stage 7 was required to provide the necessary soul power. Moreover, some powerful laws required even more soul power, and even True God Stage 9 might not be enough. So this is why many people only consider upgrading their laws after reaching the God King realm. Zhu Qiwu knew very well that Lin Mo's soul was strong, and he had seen Lin Mo sublimate laws before. So Zhu Qiwu wasn't worried about Lin Mo's lack of soul power. But he didn't expect that after successfully sublimating a law, Lin Mo would immediately start sublimating a second law without even taking a break. Based on his understanding of Lin Mo during this period, he knew that Lin Mo would not do anything without certainty. This shows that Lin Mo had spare energy and sufficient soul power. This kid not only has high soul quality, but also such abundant soul power, he's really a freak. Zhu Qiwu couldn't help but say. True God Stage 2, possessing more abundant soul power than a God King, and most likely possessing a rank 4 peak soul. His combat power can even defy the heavens and kill God Kings. If this kind of person isn't a freak, what is? Boom, the soul world vibrated violently again, and the law was successfully sublimated. Lin Mo couldn't wait to enter the black hole and look at the other world connected to the black hole, the world of Great World Runes. The time of 0.5 seconds was very short, and Lin Mo didn't dare to waste any of it. This time, he saw it clearly. There was indeed a faint line between the Great World Rune and the various law runes, connecting the two together. And in the last scene he saw last time, several of these lines were broken. The ABCH law runes that should have been connected to it disappeared. What does it mean for the law runes to break away from the lines and disappear? Lin Mo didn't know, but he instinctively felt that this information was very important. It seemed that he had explored the most secret information in the great world, but his realm was too low now to understand it at all. Lin Mo firmly remembered the information he saw, not daring to forget a single detail. The picture shattered again, and consciousness returned. The damage transfer law star slowly rose into the air, gathering with several passive laws such as Undying Undead and Physical Resistance. Including damage transfer, Lin Mo had a total of 5 passive laws. Unfortunately, the 5 passive laws did not form a multi-star law system, but instead acted independently. Lin Mo didn't dare to have too many extravagant hopes. His laws were already strong enough, and he also had a 9-star law. He couldn't possibly take all the benefits in the world. Soul power fed back, pushing his soul to become stronger, and his understanding of the laws also improved. Lin Mo followed the surging waves and walked on the waves. His aura rose to the bottleneck, and then broke through the bottleneck. Everything was so natural. His realm broke through True God Stage 2 and reached True God Stage 3. His understanding of the undead law deepened again, reaching 14%. However, judging from Lin Mo's combat power, it could no longer be measured by simple law control. His comprehensive combat power had long been beyond common sense. After this promotion, the Undead Legion also became more powerful. Lin Mo felt that his skeleton god general was enough to be comparable to an ordinary god king stage 1. Perhaps a one-on-one fight wouldn't work, but a gang fight could definitely kill a god king stage 1 like Lu Hong. Fighting across realms was easy, and it didn't weaken at all due to the improvement of the realm. This promotion was very smooth, and the curse of the Great World didn't come out to make trouble. Lin Mo looked at damage transfer after it was sublimated into a star with satisfaction. Damage transfer fusion degree 110%, all damage received will be reduced by 2 times, and then borne by the summons. There wasn't too much surprise. The damage received was only increased from 1 time to 2 times, which was not much different from Lin Mo's expectations. Passive laws have always had the smallest changes among all laws. It doesn't need too much change. Just changing from 1 time to 2 times is already very amazing for the overall improvement. Talent played a powerful role, and coupled with other damage reduction laws. Any elemental or physical law that hits him will be reduced by 360,000 times. This damage will continue to be reduced 3 times by talent before finally falling on the Undead Legion. His defense became stronger, and the Undead Legion also became stronger. The combination of the two greatly improved safety again. Below the God King, basically no one can hurt him. Above the God King, it will also be very difficult to kill him. Like the Bat King who had hunted him down before, he now has the ability to fight him head-on. Continue. The next one is you. Lin Mo was full of confidence and looked at the remaining 2 law planets in the Soul World. He chose that Strong Soldier's Law, this powerful law transformed from the origin rune. He had used it countless times to kill powerful enemies. Only after arriving in the Great World did its role gradually weaken. The main reason was that after he solved the trouble of the Great World Rune Curse, his combat power increased too quickly. Restricted by the soul, even if he used Strong Soldiers, the combat power improvement would not be too obvious. So these 2 powerful laws from the origin rune were shelved. If they can be converted into star level, there may be new changes. Lin Mo can still guess and predict other laws, but he cannot predict the Strong Soldiers and Gathering Power laws. The origin of the 2 is too extraordinary, containing the power of the origin of the Great World, which has exceeded the point he can speculate. So Lin Mo can only take 1 step at a time. The soul moved slightly, and a 7-colored essence fire was pulled over and pressed on that Strong Soldier's Law planet. Sublimation, begin. Zhu Qiwu witnessed Lin Mo's second sublimation success. His realm smoothly improved from True God Stage 2 to True God Stage 3, and the whole process was without any obstacles and very smooth. He was thinking that this time Lin Mo should take a rest and restore his soul power. But a different kind of aura rose from Lin Mo again, and flames emerged from his body. The third sublimation began. Zhu Qiwu's judgment was completely wrong, and the corner of his mouth twitched. This guy is a monster. Lin Mo was honorably upgraded from a freak to a monster. However, Zhu Qiwu's eyes showed excitement. The stronger Lin Mo was, the happier he was. Zhu Qiwu thought in his heart, our clan may have a new war god again. Chapter 1130. Failure to ascend. The Strong Soldier spell planet was enveloped in 7-colored essence fire. The spell planet instantly transformed into a massive fireball, illuminating the soul world. Lin Mo promptly provided ample soul force, and the fusion rate steadily increased. The entire process was no different from before, except that the demand for soul force was higher. Lin Mo calculated that the soul force requirement for the Strong Soldier spell was nearly double that of damage transfer and corpse explosion. It barely exceeded the recovery rate of the talent giant tree, and his soul force entered a state of slow consumption. However, this consumption wasn't rapid. Lin Mo could sustain it for over a day, enough time for the spell to complete its ascension. But gradually, Lin Mo sensed something was amiss. The increase in the fusion rate became slower and slower, while the demand for soul force grew larger and larger. Is it because of the origin rune? Lin Mo wondered inwardly. The Strong Soldier spell wasn't his original spell but came from the origin rune. The origin rune was extracted from the essence blood of the origin bird and belonged to one of the 9 true words. It contained the power of the great world's origin. Therefore, the spell was extremely powerful, and its ascension was equally difficult. Lin Mo had prepared in advance, but he still underestimated its difficulty. Now that things had come to this, Lin Mo had no choice but to bite the bullet and continue. The 7-colored essence fire continued to burn fiercely, providing more and more soul force, but the increase in the fusion rate became slower and more difficult. Time passed bit by bit. Over half of his soul force was consumed, and the 7-colored essence fire seemed to gradually weaken. However, the Strong Soldier spell still failed to ascend into a star. Lin Mo continued to provide soul force, not giving up on the last glimmer of hope. As his soul force dwindled, Lin Mo's aura gradually weakened and became unstable. Zhu Qiwu, watching, knew that Lin Mo was in trouble, but he couldn't offer any help. Spell ascension relied solely on oneself, others couldn't assist. Besides cheering Lin Mo on in his heart, Zhu Qiwu was helpless. After a full day of this, the firelight on Lin Mo completely extinguished. Lin Mo opened his eyes, sighed deeply, and said with a hint of helplessness, "It failed." Zhu Qiwu said in a calm tone, "Seven-colored essence fire occasionally fails, there are no absolutes in the great world." Lin Mo understood this principle. Although Zhu Qiwu's tone was calm and he didn't say it directly, Lin Mo knew he was comforting him. "I'll try again in a while," Lin Mo said equally calmly, showing no signs of discouragement. Zhu Qiwu nodded, saying nothing more. Lin Mo's state of mind was good, failure was nothing as long as he didn't give up. The talent giant tree continuously provided Lin Mo with soul force. In at most half a day, his soul force would be restored to its peak. Lin Mo pondered the reasons, searching for the root cause of the failure. The fusion rate of strong soldier had increased, reaching 99%. It was this last 1% that caused his failure. Lin Mo recalled the entire process. The beginning part was smooth, besides the high consumption of soul force, there were no other problems. The problem must have been at the end, after the fusion rate reached 99%. The last 1% couldn't be increased no matter what. It's not related to soul force, my soul force is ample, and I'm using 7-colored essence fire. Although 7-colored essence fire can't guarantee 100% success in ascension, it can at least guarantee 99%. So where did the problem lie? Lin Mo thought for a long time but couldn't find the correct answer. As it stood, the reason for the failure was nothing more than 2 points. First, he was indeed too unlucky, encountering the rare failure rate. Second, the spell was too strong, and even 7-colored essence fire wasn't enough. But if 7-colored essence fire wasn't enough, other essence fires would be even less so. 7-colored essence fire was already the limit of essence fire, there was no such thing as 8-colored or 9-colored essence fire. Thinking of 9 colors, Lin Mo suddenly thought of the 9-colored lotus in the blue star. Zhu Qiwu didn't interrupt Lin Mo's thoughts, some problems had to be figured out by Lin Mo himself. Half a day later, Lin Mo's soul force returned to its peak. "I'll try again," Lin Mo said. Zhu Qiwu simply nodded, without any other reaction. Lin Mo's mind sank into his soul world, and his soul force transformed into a large hand, slapping the 7-colored essence fire onto the power-gathering spell planet. That's right, Lin Mo changed his target. For the second ascension, Lin Mo didn't choose the strong soldier spell but the power-gathering spell. A spell had a total of only 3 ascension opportunities. Before figuring out the reason, Lin Mo didn't want to waste the second opportunity on that strong soldier spell. So, he chose the power-gathering spell. Power-gathering and strong soldier shared the same origin, and the previous fusion rate had reached 99%. If it could ascend successfully, he only needed to find 2 more 7-colored essence fires, and he would eventually succeed. If even it failed, then it meant it wasn't his problem, and he needed to find another way. Lin Mo thought of the starfire seed, perhaps he needed to find a starfire seed. After the power-gathering spell was ignited, Lin Mo's soul force surged like a tide. No longer gently providing soul force as before. With only 1% remaining, if there was any bottleneck, Lin Mo would strike hard to completely shatter it. The soul world constantly trembled, and soul force almost materialized, rushing into the power-gathering spell planet like a waterfall. Soul force was the fuel, and the 7-colored essence fire was unprecedentedly vigorous. The entire spell planet was burning fiercely, turning into a giant fireball. Seeing that it was about to succeed, Lin Mo knew that the last 1% still couldn't be broken through. It was as if there was a bottomless abyss, no matter how much soul force he rushed in, it was swallowed by the abyss, unable to reach the other shore. Until his soul force was completely exhausted and the 7-colored essence fire gradually extinguished, Lin Mo sighed helplessly, it failed again. Zhu Qiwu also felt strange, did you find the reason? Lin Mo shook his head. I changed the spell, but the result was the same. Only the last bit was missing, but I couldn't cross it. Zhu Qiwu pondered, searching for answers from the countless events he had experienced in his 10,000 years of life. Although the success rate of 7-colored essence fire can't be said to be 100%, it's at least 99% certain. It's not unheard of to fail once in a while due to bad luck, but to fail twice in a row has never been heard of. You recover your soul force first, and I'll ask around. Lin Mo nodded. Sorry to trouble you, senior. Zhu Qiwu's main body in the distant 10th fortress suddenly took out a jade pendant, communicated with the jade pendant with his soul, and recounted his problem. The jade pendant flickered with a faint light, accompanied by the aura of laws, transmitting Zhu Qiwu's information. After half an hour, the jade pendant lit up again. Zhu Qiwu pressed the jade pendant to his brow, reading the information within. His expression changed, and a deep shock appeared in his eyes. In the silver mist, Zhu Qiwu's clone suddenly whispered, "Is it the origin rune?" Lin Mo opened his eyes and nodded. "Yes." 2. His voice trembled, in disbelief and excitement. "Yes. Hissa. ##. Chapter 1131, Is your mouth blessed? Even Zhu Qiwu, who had lived for 10,000 years and seen countless things, couldn't help but gasp. How rare are the primordial runesa? Looking at the entire Vermilion Bird Star region, it's unlikely you'd find someone who possesses a primordial runesa. No one has counted how many humans there are in the Vermilion Bird Star region, but it's definitely an astonishing number. Countless life star systems, countless life stars, more than 1 trillion. Yet even so, it's difficult to find someone with a primordial runesa. As Zhu Qiwu knows, even looking at the entire human race, probably only a couple of people possess a primordial runesa. Lin Moyu possesses 2 primordial runesa, which is nothing short of a miracle. Faced with such a bizarre thing, Zhu Qiwu could no longer remain calm. Zhu Qiwu carefully whispered, "You can't tell anyone about this." Lin Moyu, seemingly realizing the seriousness of the matter, tentatively asked, "Walls have ears?" Zhu Qiwu nodded vigorously, "That's right." Again, "Walls have ears. What exactly does 'walls have ears' mean? Why do both Qingjiandao and Zhu Qiwu say this?" It seems his previous caution was correct. When facing the abyssal dragon demon, he didn't use a primordial runesa or the fusion spell. He tried his best to hide his strength. Although hiding might not be successful, he had tried his best. His thoughts quickly swept through his previous experiences. Lin Moyu felt that no one should know about his possession of a primordial runesa. Through Zhu Qiwu's few words, Lin Moyu understood that the reason for his failed sublimation was not the 7-colored essence fire, nor his soul power. The root cause was the primordial runesa, because the strong soldiera and a gathering power spells both came from a primordial runesa. They were too strong, making sublimation incredibly difficult. Lin Moyu asked in a low voice, "Senior, is there a way?" Zhu Qiwu whispered, "For others, it's impossible for the time being. Perhaps when they reach the 9th rank of God King, they can look back and have some hope. But for you," at this moment, Zhu Qiwu looked towards the blue star. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. "Senior, are you talking about the 9-colored lotus?" Zhu Qiwu nodded. "This star is called Blue Flame Star. You can consider it a collection of stellar essence fire, or an upgraded version of a star. Because its temperature is too high, the flames appear blue. The flames emitted from it will all turn into stellar essence fire. But its essence is still a star, and stars have the opportunity to nurture supreme treasures. The 9-colored fire lotus is the supreme treasure it nurtured, and it's completely mature and ready to be used." Lin Moyu looked at the 9-colored fire lotus in the blue flame star, his gaze slightly dazed. "A supreme treasure, but why hasn't anyone taken it away all these years?" Zhu Qiwu chuckled twice. "What do you think?" Lin Moyu thought for a moment. "Is it because they can't see it?" "That's about right," Zhu Qiwu said. "To see the 9-colored fire lotus, you need to reach at least the peak of 4th grade soul, or even jade soul giving birth to purple. A 4th grade soul is called a jade soul. When a 4th grade soul reaches its peak and opens the path to the 5th grade, a hint of purple will be born in the depths of the soul. This situation is called jade soul giving birth to purple. God Venerables all have 4th grade souls, including Qingjiandao, who has already reached the realm of 4th grade soul. But it's not easy for a 4th grade soul to further reach the peak of the 4th grade. If you want jade soul giving birth to purple, it's even more difficult." When Zhu Qiwu learned that Lin Moyu could see the 9-colored fire lotus, he knew that Lin Moyu's soul quality had reached the peak of the 4th grade, and might even be jade soul giving birth to purple. For Lin Moyu, a mere true God realm cultivator, to reach such a realm with his soul, Zhu Qiwu had to look at Lin Moyu in a new light. Lin Moyu also understood why no one came to take the 9-colored fire lotus. Few people come here in the first place. Besides a few extremely powerful true God peaks, most are God Kings. Their soul quality basically doesn't reach the peak of the 4th grade, so naturally they can't see the 9-colored fire lotus. Zhu Qiwu continued, in fact, many god venerables know about the 9-colored fire lotus here, but no one comes to take it. The reason lies in the suppression of the Great World Law. The closer you get to the blue flame star, the stronger the suppression. At that time, god venerables will be no different from true gods, and it will be dangerous for them to enter. Furthermore, the 9-colored fire lotus is not very useful to god venerables. It's useless to take it. The role of the 9-colored fire lotus is similar to that of a stellar fire seed. Although it is a supreme treasure, its role is singular, which is to sublimate spells. The spells of god venerables have been completely fixed. Even if there is still a chance for sublimation, the 9-colored fire lotus cannot solve it. More heaven-defying treasures are needed. Since it is dangerous and useless, why would any god venerable come to take the risk? Lin Moyu thought of another possibility, but wouldn't god venerables take the 9-colored fire lotus and leave it for their family's descendants to use? Zhu Qiwu chuckled twice. It's good that you can think of this question, which shows that you are careful enough. This involves another problem. The 9-colored fire lotus cannot leave the blue flame star and can only be absorbed on the spot. So that's how it is. Lin Moyu completely understood why no one was interested in the 9-colored fire lotus. In addition to being dangerous and useless, it also needs to be absorbed on the spot. With all kinds of restrictions and conditions, naturally no one would be interested in it. Perhaps in the eyes of many god venerables, this is a tasteless chicken rib. For ordinary spells, 7-colored essence fire is enough, why bother with the 9-colored fire lotus? Only spells converted from a primordial runesa like his own, which cannot be sublimated by 7-colored essence fire, would use the 9-colored fire lotus. Lin Moyu asked again, but there is only one 9-colored fire lotus. Zhu Qiwu shook his head, that's enough. The 9-colored fire lotus has a huge effect. Your spell sublimation is only one step away. One 9-colored fire lotus is enough for your 2 spells to complete sublimation. But there will be danger in the process, so be careful. Lin Moyu immediately said, is it because of the temperature? Zhu Qiwu explained, no, it's the fire lotus spirit. The 9-colored fire lotus contains a fire lotus spirit. When you absorb the fire lotus spirit will attack your soul. But with your soul quality, it should be safe. Lin Moyu respectfully clasped his fists towards Zhu Qiwu, thank you for your guidance, senior. Then this junior will go and absorb the 9-colored fire lotus. A soft, came from Zhu Qiwu, did you have your mouth blessed by the Buddhist clan, kid? It's really effective. Following Zhu Qiwu's gaze, Lin Moyu saw 2 people flying towards the blue flame star, one in front of the other. Flying in front was an old man, white-haired and exuding a majestic aura. Behind the old man was a young man holding a fiery red shield. The shield shimmered with colorful light, forming a layer of protection, firmly protecting the young man. Neither of them were human. They were somewhat similar to humans, but they had dense vertical scales on their bodies, and Lin Moyu saw that they only had 4 fingers on each hand. Zhu Qiwu glanced at them and immediately saw through their cultivation. A trace of disdain flashed in his eyes, they are the scale armor subhuman race. A god venerable, bringing his own child to take the 9-colored fire lotus. Fire-avoiding shield, fire-resisting clothes, fire-suppressing bead, they are well prepared, but it's useless. Chapter 1132. Ignoring high temperatures, shocked Zhu Qiwu. Zhu Qiwu stated the other party's realm and behavior in one sentence, while also showing some disdain. The scale armor subhuman race has a decent relationship with the human race. Although they are not allies, there are no conflicts between them. In some star systems, the human race even has some trade with the scale armor subhuman race, and can be considered half-friends. Lin Moyu asked, don't we need to help them? Zhu Qiwu said lightly, no need, they will be fine. This old guy isn't here for the first time. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. Judging from Zhu Qiwu's appearance, he seemed to know the other party. Zhu Qiwu didn't say anything, and Lin Moyu didn't ask any further questions. Under the shroud of silver mist, the other party didn't notice them. The 2 of them watched like they were watching a play, watching them rush into the blue flame star. The originally calm blue flame star immediately boiled over. It was like a meteor crashing into the sea, setting off huge waves. Zhu Qiwu sneered, the old guy is paving the way for his younger generation, not hesitating to provoke the blue flame star's anger. But what's the use of doing this? In the end, they still have to rely on themselves. Lin Moyu saw that although the Tier 1 Divine Venerable was suppressed to the True God realm, he still possessed powerful combat power. He cleared the way ahead, forcibly opening a safe passage in the blue flame star. His descendants, fully armed, followed behind him, unaffected by the blue flames at all. From Lin Moyu's perspective, although this Divine Venerable's strength was suppressed, the combat power he displayed still reached the third level of the Divine King. He was not much different from the Abyss Dragon Demon. Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh, Divine Venerables are indeed powerful. Zhu Qiwu said, he is a Tier 9 Divine Venerable with a 4th grade peak soul. Even among Divine Venerables, his ranking is very high. Lin Moyu suddenly understood why Zhu Qiwu said they would be fine. He was actually a Tier 9 Divine Venerable. As far as he knew, there were only a few Tier 9 Divine Venerables on the surface in the Vermilion Bird Star region of the human race. Even the Domain Lord Zhu Tian only revealed the strength of a Tier 9 Divine Venerable. Even among Tier 9 Divine Venerables, there were differences in strength. In Lin Moyu's feeling, Zhu Tian was stronger than the Tier 9 Divine Venerable of the Scaled Armor subhuman race, and Zhu Qiwu beside him was even stronger. Zhu Qiwu said, you can also follow behind him and take advantage of him. Lin Moyu laughed, Senior is joking. That would offend him. Zhu Qiwu glared, with me here, I'd like to see if he dares to fart. It's not like you're the one who's offending him. Seeing Lin Moyu like this, Zhu Qiwu snorted, you're so timid. Then go from the other end. Anyway, they won't succeed. Lin Moyu nodded and flew towards the blue flame star. Zhu Qiwu followed behind Lin Moyu unhurriedly. A few minutes later, Lin Moyu truly entered the range of the blue flame star. His arrival also triggered some changes in the blue flame star, but the commotion was not significant. The blue flames seemed to have a target and wrapped around Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu was surrounded by the blue flames and sensed an unusual aura. He couldn't help but let out a soft exclamation, does this blue flame star have consciousness? Zhu Qiwu said, the blue flame star has existed here for countless years. It's normal for it to have a simple consciousness. It's indeed very normal. Lin Moyu had already sensed the blue flame star's instinctive consciousness, which was indeed very simple. It's like when you approach a 1-year-old child, the child will instinctively reject you. The blue flame star was currently in this state, disliking others entering its domain. It seems you have a strong resistance to flames. Zhu Qiwu looked at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu didn't use any protective magical treasures, nor did he use the power of the laws to defend himself. He just casually allowed the flames to burn him without being harmed. It was truly amazing. The temperature here had already exceeded 300 million degrees. Even a divine king would have to use some means to ensure they weren't injured. Even Zhu Qiwu couldn't figure out how Lin Moyu did it. Lin Moyu said, I have a technique that can immunize me against elements. There's such a technique. Zhu Qiwu was slightly stunned. This was the first time he had heard of such a technique. Lin Moyu nodded, as long as it doesn't involve laws, ordinary elements are ineffective against me. Zhu Qiwu suddenly understood, as expected, the world is full of wonders. It seems my knowledge is insufficient. No wonder you can ignore the high temperature and walk through the flames with ease. Lin Moyu smiled and continued to advance towards the location of the 9-colored fire lotus. The blue flame star had no physical form and was entirely composed of flames. Moreover, the deeper one went, the higher the temperature. According to Zhu Qiwu, the area where the 9-colored fire lotus was located was the area with the highest temperature on the blue flame star, reaching 500 million degrees. There were no laws, just pure high temperature. When the temperature reached that level, it had undergone a qualitative change from a quantitative one, enough to instantly burn a divine king to death. Zhu Qiwu was also very curious whether Lin Moyu's technique could withstand that high temperature. If he could block it, it would mean that Lin Moyu's technique was truly extraordinary. The temperature continued to rise, becoming increasingly alarming. At some point, a silver light lit up on Zhu Qiwu's body. The silver light, like flowing water, blocked the flames coming from all directions. Lin Moyu still ignored the blue flames, as if he felt nothing. At this time, the temperature had reached 400 million degrees, an incredibly alarming temperature. Continuing forward, they finally arrived at the area where the 9-colored fire lotus was located. The blue flames carried a high temperature of 500 million degrees, firmly enveloping Lin Moyu. Elemental resistance was steadfastly playing its role, ignoring all elemental damage. As the technique described, as long as it didn't involve laws, he could ignore the damage. Zhu Qiwu secretly marveled in his heart. Lin Moyu had not exaggerated. He really ignored the high temperature. Zhu Qiwu asked himself if he could not be as calm and collected as Lin Moyu was now. His whole body was covered in silver streamers, isolating him from the blue flames. The two advanced all the way, as if entering an uninhabited land, and their speed was even faster than that of the Tier 9 Divine Venerable of the scaled armor subhuman race. That Tier 9 Divine Venerable aroused the blue flame star's disgust. The blue flame star seemed to be targeting him, constantly rising with fierce flames and crashing into him. If he weren't strong, he would have been blasted out by the flames long ago. The intensity on one side contrasted sharply with the tranquility on Lin Moyu's side. The Divine Venerable of the scaled armor subhuman race braved the flames and finally rushed to the 9-colored fire lotus. He saw Lin Moyu and Zhu Qiwu. The two sides faced each other across the 9-colored fire lotus. So it's Guardian Zhu. Chishui greets Guardian Zhu. The Divine Venerable of the scaled armor subhuman race bowed to Zhu Qiwu from afar. Their etiquette was very strange, with a single-handed phantom, like the meaning of, please, in the human race. Zhu Qiwu looked serious at this time, without the slightest smile. Divine Venerable Chishui, how have you been? How many times have you brought your younger generation to collect the 9-colored fire lotus? So this Divine Venerable was named Divine Venerable Chishui. Lin Moyu kept it in mind. Divine Venerable Chishui smiled, I don't remember. Anyway, I always have to try. As you know, the 9-colored fire lotus is only for the sublimation of techniques for other races, but for my race, it has other uses. Is Guardian Zhu also bringing his younger generation to collect the 9-colored fire lotus this time? It could be heard that Divine Venerable Chishui's tone was cheerful, and he was obviously not a sinister person. Zhu Qiwu said, come and try. Please go first. We're not in a hurry. Divine Venerable Chishui was not polite. Okay. Saying that, he said to the younger generation who had been following behind him, go forward 100 steps and listen to my command. Chapter 1133. The Self-Righteous Brat. Chishui Divine Venerables Jr. was a young man of true God Tier 9. Obviously, he couldn't see the 9-colored fire lotus, so he had to listen to Chishui Divine Venerable's instructions. He stepped out of the flames, and after leaving the protective circle that Chishui Divine Venerable had set up for him, the blue flames immediately pounced over and wrapped around him. The magical treasures on his body shone brightly, blocking the flames. These magical treasures were all fire-resistant magical treasures, and they seemed to work well. However, these magical treasures also had shortcomings and had a limit. Once the limit was reached and the magical treasure collapsed, this young man would be in danger. Therefore, the whole process had to be fast, and the 9-colored fire lotus had to be absorbed before the magical treasure collapsed. But the 9-colored fire lotus was not so easy to absorb. The soul attack of the fire lotus spirit alone was not something that ordinary people could withstand. With Lin Moyu's soul quality, Zhu Qiwu had to tell him to be careful, let alone the young man in front of him. Zhu Qiwu shook his head gently. He knew that the young man in front of him would not succeed. Chishui Divine Venerable seemed to understand this as well and was a little helpless. I always have to try. This is the last time. If I still fail this time, I won't try again in the future. Zhu Qiwu said, it's enough. You come here time and time again at the risk of danger, wasting a lot of time, and it's harmful to your own cultivation. Chishui Divine Venerable smiled, there's no way. I always have to do something for my clan. It could be seen that he had a deep affection for his race. Zhu Qiwu didn't say anything else. Everyone had their own ideas. Some people were extremely selfish, and some people could give up a lot for the sake of righteousness. Zhu Qiwu transmitted a message to Lin Moyu, actually, Chishui Divine Venerable is my senior, but it's a pity that he was seriously injured in his early years for the sake of his race. Although the injury was healed later, it still left some hidden dangers, making breakthroughs difficult. After finally breaking through to the 9th rank of God Venerable, he began to seek this 9-colored fire lotus for his people, delaying a lot of time. Otherwise, he could very likely have gone further. In Zhu Qiwu's words, this Crimson Water God Venerable before him is actually a genius. His cultivation talent is extremely high, and he could have gone further. Lin Mo felt that the Crimson Water God Venerable was wrong. If he really wanted to do something for the race, he should have gone forward without hesitation and reached the end of cultivation. The higher his cultivation, the more he could do. The current efforts are somewhat meaningless. As he thought before, everyone has their own ideas and cannot be evaluated with their own values. The younger generation of the Crimson Water God Venerable has already touched the 9-colored fire lotus and started absorbing it. Blue flame star suddenly became violent, as if a child's beloved toy was about to be snatched away. It began to resist instinctively. The 9-colored fire lotus also began to burst out with intense flames, wrapping the young man in reverse. The magic weapon on his body made a creaking sound, as if it would break at any time. The young man screamed strangely, with a hint of horror on his face. If the magic weapon broke, he would be swallowed by the flames in an instant, leaving not even a single hair. The Crimson Water God Venerable shouted angrily, "Steady your mind, don't panic, a diaresis I 1/4 a." The young man tried to steady his mind with horror. At this time, a blue light flew out from the 9-colored fire lotus, piercing into the young man's brow like a sharp arrow. The spirit of the fire lotus attacked, launching a soul attack on the young man. The young man froze on the spot, motionless. The Crimson Water God Venerable stared wide-eyed. "Hold on, you must hold on." To absorb the 9-colored fire lotus, in addition to overcoming the extreme high-temperature flames, you must also survive the attack of the fire lotus spirit. Zhu Qiwu whispered, "This is the attack of the fire lotus spirit. The 9-colored fire lotus has 9 leaves, and the attack of the fire lotus spirit also has 9 times. Only after withstanding all 9 attacks, one is qualified to absorb the 9-colored fire lotus." Lin Mo nodded slightly. 9 attacks, this young man is afraid that he can't bear it. Before the first attack was over, another light emerged from the 9-colored fire lotus, and the second attack followed. The young man's body trembled violently, as if he saw something terrifying. Soul attacks are the most bizarre, not necessarily directly killing the soul. Sometimes they can produce a large number of illusions, evoking the most terrifying things in the heart. If the soul is not strong enough, and the mind is not firm enough, it is very likely to be traumatized or even collapse. "Steady, guard the soul, use soul magic weapons." The Crimson Water God Venerable kept shouting. But it was his younger generation who was attacked, and his voice obviously didn't work. The third attack appeared, and the young man trembled even more violently, his face full of horror. No one knows what he saw, why he was so scared. Then the fourth attack, the fifth attack. The young man reached his limit and let out a scream. Obviously the magic weapon outside his body was not completely broken, but his body spontaneously burned with flames. The Crimson Water God Venerable's face changed drastically, and he shouted in a low voice, casting a law to wrap him and pull him back. The Crimson Water God Venerable's law extinguished the flames on the young man, but at this time the young man was already seriously injured. Zhu Qiwu whispered, "It's good to be able to persist until the 5th attack, but unfortunately, the mind is not firm enough, and the soul is not strong enough, and the heart fire was triggered." The Crimson Water God Venerable sighed, I 1/4 It seems that this treasure has no affinity with my clan. Town Guardian Zhu, please leave." Zhu Qiwu nodded. "Go up." Lin Mo hummed and flew straight to the 9-colored fire lotus. Lin Mo looked calm and serene, with no trace of fireworks on his body. His whole body was wrapped in blue flames, but he was unharmed. The Crimson Water God Venerable noticed Lin Mo at this time. He thought he was just Zhu Qiwu's junior before, so he didn't care. At this time, he realized that Lin Mo was extraordinary. Lin Mo didn't use any magic weapons, and directly ignored the high temperature of the flames. And he could actually see the 9-colored fire lotus. Zhu Qiwu didn't point out the location at all. The Crimson Water God Venerable was extremely shocked and couldn't say a word. There was a vague guess in his heart that Zhu Qiwu was paying attention to Lin Mo, and at the same time, he was also paying attention to the Crimson Water God Venerable. His eyes were uncertain, as if he was considering something. Lin Mo had already come to the side of the 9-colored fire lotus. He didn't touch the 9-colored fire lotus like the young man just now. Instead, he sat down carelessly, just like the Buddha of the Buddhist family sitting on a lotus. He directly sat on the 9-colored fire lotus. In an instant, the blue flames rioted, and the 9-colored fire lotus lit up with light, and the fire lotus spirits almost simultaneously launched attacks towards Lin Mo. Zhu Qiwu twitched the corner of his mouth and cursed secretly, "This kid is too self-righteous." The Crimson Water God Venerable was even more stunned and speechless, not understanding why Lin Mo did this. Is it confidence or arrogance? Lin Mo did this with his own consideration. He needs to sublimate 2 spells at the same time, so he must absorb the 9 colored flames as quickly as possible. When he was observing just now, he found that when the Fire Lotus spirit launched an attack, the power of the 9 colored Fire Lotus seemed to weaken over time. He speculated that it should be because both sides consumed some power in the process of stalemate. Lin Mo hoped to obtain as much power from the 9 colored Fire Lotus as possible, so he would bring out all the Fire Lotus spirits at once, and then eliminate the Fire Lotus spirits as quickly as possible, so that the power of the 9 colored Fire Lotus would have nowhere to go. Chapter 1134. Barbaric Absorption of the 9 colored Fire Lotus. What Lin Mo thought was not passive defense, but active attack. Actively let out the Fire Lotus spirit, and at the same time, in his soul world, the soul body had already prepared. When the Fire Lotus spirit had just entered the soul world, before it had time to launch an attack on the soul world, Lin Mo had already taken the lead. The Fire Lotus spirits are just some light. If you think they are sharp swords, they will become swords. If you think they are knives, they will become knives. This is the spirit body, which will turn into various objects with your thoughts, without the Empress Dowager Cixie's body. Lin Mo didn't imagine what they were, the only thought in his heart was to directly strangle them. The talent giant tree flew out of the sky with branches, whipping towards the Fire Lotus spirit like a whip. Chop! The soul body whispered, and the soul-slaying sword had already flown out, slashing towards the Fire Lotus spirit. As a top-grade magic weapon in the God King realm, the soul-slaying sword is extremely powerful, especially now that Lin Mo has reached the 3rd rank of True God, and his soul power has greatly increased. The power that the soul-slaying sword can exert is much greater than before. The sword light flashed, and 2 Fire Lotus spirits were beheaded before they could even launch an attack. The branches of the talent giant tree also entangled 3 Fire Lotus spirits, and the branches pulled hard, directly tearing them into pieces. Lin Mo moved too fast, and the remaining 4 Fire Lotus spirits had just begun to attack Lin Mo's soul world. But the crystal shield outside the soul world firmly blocked the attack of the Fire Lotus spirit. The Talent 327 giant tree and the soul-slaying sword attacked again, and with 3 or 2 attacks, the remaining 4 Fire Lotus spirits were also strangled. The 9-colored Fire Lotus, which was still resisting fiercely, suddenly became quiet. Zhu Qiwu was slightly startled, knowing that Lin Mo had solved the Fire Lotus spirit. Although he didn't know how he did it, Lin Mo really did it. What a magical monster! Zhu Qiwu added the word, magical, before his evaluation of Lin Mo. From a monster, he was upgraded again and became a magical monster. The Crimson Water God Venerable on the other side was completely shocked and couldn't believe it. How did he do it? Zhu Qiwu smiled and didn't explain. Because even he didn't know how Lin Mo Yu did it. Regardless, Lin Mo Yu did it. Zhu Qiwu looked at Lin Mo Yu, who was sitting upright on the 9-colored Fire Lotus. With the Fire Lotus spirit resolved, he should start absorbing it, right? I wonder how he'll absorb it. How to absorb it? Lin Mo Yu indicated that he would just absorb it directly. His soul opened its mouth and took a violent breath. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal within his soul simultaneously let out a dragon's roar, seemingly echoing the soul. The 9-colored Fire Lotus was instantly sucked into his body, immediately appearing in the soul world. Divine Venerable Chishui shuddered violently, he swallowed it all in one gulp. This is a 9-colored Fire Lotus that has accumulated for tens of thousands of years, its energy is incredibly vast. Zhu Junshou, didn't you tell him to be careful? Zhu Qiwu said somewhat helplessly, young people like to show off a bit, let him be. Let him be, you can just, let him be, with something like this. This is a matter of life and death. The energy accumulated over tens of thousands of years erupted in an instant, enough to shatter even a God King's bones and soul. Moreover, Divine Venerable Chishui shuddered violently, widening his eyes again. Lin Mo Yu is just a 3rd-order God Venerable. This defies all logic. Divine Venerable Chishui opened his mouth a few times, not knowing what to say, he was already speechless. At this moment, Zhu Qiwu's eyes also held strangeness, as he thought to himself, this guy is a monster, he can't be judged by common sense. The 2 primordial runes are about to sublimate, he should, presumably be fine, right? Zhu Qiwu was somewhat uncertain, after all, he had never seen anything like what was happening before his eyes. Not only had he never seen it, but he had never even heard of it. The 9-colored Fire Lotus entered the soul world and instantly began to collapse, as if about to explode. Lin Mo Yu had long anticipated this, His soul force surged, and the two spell planetoids, Strong Soldier and Gathering Force, flew over directly, crashing into the 9-colored fire lotus. The two spell planetoids, as if having obtained a treasure, began to frantically absorb the power within the 9-colored fire lotus. The 9-colored fire lotus, which was originally about to explode, suddenly became quiet and stable. Lin Moyu's soul force calmly followed, then divided into two, rushing in without regard for the cost. Because he didn't need to consider whether the external blue flame would harm him, Lin Moyu didn't need to worry about defense. All of his soul power could be used to sublimate the spells. The power of the 9-colored fire lotus was continuously absorbed and plundered by the two spell planetoids, and when the surface energy was almost completely absorbed, the core power within began to be exposed. The core power contained a trace of the aura of the law, and Lin Moyu sensed a familiar taste within it. Stellar Fire Seed. The 9-colored fire lotus was somewhat similar to the power of the stellar fire seed. He thought of the appearance of the stellar fire seed when it matured, and now that he thought about it, it also seemed to be a lotus flower. Lin Moyu immediately understood that the 9-colored fire lotus was the appearance of the stellar fire seed after it matured, and could even be said to be an upgraded version of the stellar fire seed. Its effect was even greater than that of the stellar fire seed. For a time, Lin Moyu had full confidence in upgrading his spells, and he felt that there should be no problem this time. Even the spells of the primordial rune could be sublimated into stellar-level spells. What others could do, he could definitely do as well. Lin Moyu was full of confidence, and his soul force was poured in as if he didn't care about his life. Strands of his soul power began to leak out, sensed by the people outside. Divine Venerable Chishui said with a hint of envy, "What pure soul power." Although Lin Moyu was only at the third-order True God realm, and his soul power was also only at the third-order True God, his soul was incomparably pure, and its quality was too high. Displayed on the outside, 1 point of his power could be worth 3 or 4 points of someone else's. The feeling it gave Divine Venerable Chishui was pure, almost perfect purity. Lin Moyu's soul faintly revealed itself, with a touch of purple light in the jade-colored soul. Jade soul bearing purple, it really is jade soul bearing purple. Zhu Qiwu's whole body trembled, appearing somewhat excited. Jade soul bearing purple was very important, it was the foundation for continuing to move forward after reaching the peak of the God Venerable realm. As long as one couldn't reach jade soul bearing purple, everything else was useless. Lin Moyu's importance in Zhu Qiwu's eyes was increasing, and when he looked at Divine Venerable Chishui, a hint of killing intent actually flashed in his eyes. Divine Venerable Chishui immediately sensed this killing intent and said, "I will make a great world oath that I will absolutely not reveal a single word about today's events to the outside world." Divine Venerable Chishui was an old monster who had lived for tens of thousands of years. How could he not understand Zhu Qiwu's meaning? If it was an ordinary genius, then it didn't matter, which race didn't have a few top geniuses. But if a freak appeared, a person who surpassed the top geniuses, then they would definitely have to be well protected. Zhu Qiwu would definitely not allow today's events to be leaked in any way. "I'm sorry, Senior Chishui, I am also forced to do this." Divine Venerable Chishui decisively made a great world oath, and only when he saw the oath sphere explode did Zhu Qiwu feel relieved. Then, Zhu Qiwu's gaze fell on Divine Venerable Chishui's junior, "Senior Chishui, may I come?" Divine Venerable Chishui nodded, although somewhat helpless, but it couldn't be helped. Zhu Qiwu pointed at the young man, and a strange force fell into the young man's body. The young man's body trembled, and then he became motionless. Of course, Zhu Qiwu wasn't killing him, he was just erasing his memories of the recent period. This would inevitably cause some damage to the soul, but he would still be able to survive. Zhu Qiwu looked down on the great world oath of the True God realm. In case someone was willing to sacrifice a True God realm to obtain information about Lin Moyu, it wasn't impossible. For any race, the True God realm was only a low-end force. But a ninth-order God Venerable like Divine Venerable Chishui was completely different. Zhu Qiwu understood, and Divine Venerable Chishui understood as well, the two understood each other tacitly. Chapter 1135. Successful Sublimation, the Beginning and End of the Source Bird. Lin Moyu absorbed the 9-colored fire lotus in an almost barbaric, unreasonable, and reckless manner. His behavior seemed to have completely angered the 9-colored fire lotus. The 9-colored fire lotus was a treasure nurtured by Blue Flame Star, containing the essence of Blue Flame Star, and its power was incomparably vast. When true gods or god kings absorbed the 9-colored fire lotus, they were all cautious and didn't dare to take it lightly. They used the method of boiling a frog in warm water, trying not to provoke the 9-colored fire lotus's resistance as much as possible. But Lin Moyu was completely different. He first decisively annihilated the fire lotus spirit, and then almost tore the fire lotus in half, being extremely savage. Although this could preserve most of the fire lotus's power, it would also provoke the most violent counterattack from the fire lotus and blue flame star. Blue flame star began to boil, and from its very core rose a fierce firelight, with streams of flames rushing out and wrapping around Lin Moyu, wanting to burn Lin Moyu to ashes. Lin Moyu completely ignored the damage brought by the flames. Pure high temperature was useless to him. The 9-colored fire lotus also ignited the soul world, and was about to explode itself. But the arrival of the 2 spell planetoids, strong soldier gathering force, quickly absorbed all the violent power of the 9-colored fire lotus, preventing its self-destruction. The power of the 9-colored fire lotus was rapidly devoured, until the most mysterious law in the core was revealed. This law contained a special source power, which was the core for sublimating spells. Similarly, this law also contained the last resistance of the 9-colored fire lotus. The soul burned unknowingly, but this time, unlike the high temperature brought by the flames that burned the soul were caused by the law, and could not be completely immune. Heart fire. Lin Moyu's thoughts were clear even though his soul was attacked. Just like the young man of the scaled armor subhuman race before, he was attacked by heart fire. Heart fire originates from the soul. If one cannot resist it, it will spread throughout the body, causing unimaginable damage to both the soul and the physical body. Even a god king could potentially be burned to ashes. However, heart fire is of little use to Lin Moy. First, his talent and spells combine to form a 360,000-fold damage reduction, followed by another 3-fold reduction, and then the remaining damage is shared among the undead legion. Now that the number of undead in the legion has significantly increased, the damage each undead has to bear is minimal. Lin Moy once calculated that even a 1st or 2nd tier god king would find it difficult to injure him. Only god kings of the 3rd tier or higher could potentially injure him, but killing him would still be impossible. To truly kill him, it would require at least a 5th tier, or even a 6th tier god king. As his realm improves and his spells are converted to the stellar level, the increase in defense is even more monstrous than the increase in attack power. Lin Moy feels that his profession is truly an unkillable cockroach. It's simply impossible for someone of the same realm to kill him. Mere heartfire, it's difficult to even hurt me, it's nothing. Ignoring the heartfire burning his soul, Lin Moy continued to absorb the 9-colored fire lotus with all his might. The 9-colored fire lotus's counterattack had no effect whatsoever, while the strong soldiers and gathering power spells, like hunters who had smelled treasure, had already begun to divide the core power of the 9-colored fire lotus. In just 5 minutes, the origin power of the 9-colored fire lotus, containing inexplicable laws, was quickly divided and absorbed. The petals of the 9-colored fire lotus also collapsed one by one. The 9 petals transformed into 9 halos of red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple, black, and white, surrounding the strong soldiers and gathering power spell planets. The 2 spell planets, like twin stars, hung in the soul world, dazzlingly bright. Finally, the 9 halos were completely absorbed by the 2 spell planets at the same time, and the 9-colored fire lotus was completely devoured. The heartfire also extinguished at this moment. The 2 spell planets had completely transformed into balls of fire. They had entered the final moment, officially beginning to sublimate into stars. From beginning to end, Lin Moy had always maintained a frantic injection of soul power. Now that he had reached this point, the injection of soul power became even more frantic, completely disregarding the cost. The talent giant tree was shaking wildly, with many branches reaching over to entwine Lin Moy's soul, supplementing it with large amounts of soul power. At the same time, the 9-colored dragon soul crystal also emitted a loud dragon roar, spewing out incomparably pure soul power to replenish Lin Moy's consumption. Finally, the 2 spell planets, saturated with soul power, exploded in the blazing flames. The firelight filled the entire soul radiance, illuminating the soul world brightly. Lin Moy had been staring at them all along. At the moment of sublimation into stars, he would once again be able to see the scene behind the black hole, and see the main body of the Great World Rune. But this time, the black hole did not appear. Within the firelight, another scene unfolded. Lin Moy saw a giant bird flying from the depths of the starry sky. Its body was infinitely large, and stars were as small as dust in front of it. Even galaxies were nothing. Its wings, when spread, were enough to cover several galaxies. It was impossible to measure it in kilometers. If one had to use distance to express its size, then only light years could be used. Yes, light years had to be used to measure it. Millions of kilometers, tens of millions of kilometers, were all too insignificant. This is the source bird. Lin Moi was shocked, knowing its identity. This was the source bird, a powerful creature containing the original power of the great world. Its wings vibrated, capable of destroying galaxies. A shriek from it could collapse a star river. Its power could not be described in words. A god lord was like an ant in front of it. Lin Moi watched it with his own eyes, flying across the starry sky at a speed exceeding light, passing through one galaxy after another. Because of its powerful power, the galaxies that passed by it experienced great chaos. Stars collided, and galaxies were nearly destroyed. And the galaxies that stood in its path were directly destroyed by it. Stellar explosions were violent, but in front of it, they were like small, unremarkable fireworks. It just flew and flew, not knowing how many stars it had destroyed along the way, countless lives dying because of it. Its eyes were cold and ruthless. The many creatures in the great world were not even ants in its eyes. Until one day, it was stopped by several terrifying powerhouses. These powerhouses, located in the darkness, were all shrouded in black flames, making it impossible to see their faces or distinguish their races. It was only known that they were very strong, exceptionally powerful. They fought with the source bird, shattering the star river and collapsing the world. The great battle lasted for a long time, and the source bird, which had killed countless lives, finally met its retribution. Its blood stained the starry sky, its essence blood was extracted, transformed into the 9 true words, and then transformed into the origin rune. Its corpse was eternally imprisoned, its whereabouts unknown. The scene ended here, and consciousness returned to reality. Lin Moi realized that what the previous scene had shown was the memory of the source bird. It told him the origin of the origin rune. At that time, when the source bird was killed, its entire body's essence blood was extracted into the 9 true words. An invincible powerhouse transformed the 9 true words into the origin rune. There are only 9 true words, but there are more than 9 origin runes. Each origin rune only contains a small amount of original power. When a true powerhouse obtains the origin rune, they can seek the source, using the origin rune as the foundation to re-evolve the 9 true words. This is the true meaning of the origin rune spell. Chapter 1136. Removing restrictions, greatly increasing strength. Sublimation into a stellar level spell fed back a large amount of soul power. Lin Moi's aura continued to strengthen, rising continuously in the blue sea of fire. Lin Moi's realm broke through again, breaking the barrier of True God Third Order and entering True God Fourth Order. While his realm was improving, the flame heart throbbed non-stop, bursting out with even more powerful blood flow, strengthening his physical body. Lin Moi had no time to care about the changes in his realm and physical body. His consciousness sank into the soul world, watching the 2 brand new stars hanging in the soul world. They were like twin stars, attracting each other, rotating around each other, inseparable. Lin Moi knew that they were actually both from the source bird, so they had the same origin, and it was normal for them to attract each other. Unfortunately, my strength is still too weak to talk about seeking the source. Lin Moi knew how powerful the 9 true words were. It was just that he was still too far behind. At this time, he thought of the scene he had once seen in the origin secret realm, the shocking bloody smell, and the source bird that seemed to have already died but was still constantly bleeding. In the previous scene, the source bird's corpse was gone, seemingly taken away by a certain powerhouse. Long-sealed memories surged into his mind, and Lin Moi was suddenly shocked. Could it be that the old man sitting on the green ox took away the source bird's corpse? The source bird was incomparably powerful, its essence blood could transform into the 9 true words, and its corpse must also be incomparably powerful. There were many invincible powerhouses who besieged the source bird at that time. To be able to obtain the source bird's corpse from these invincible powerhouses, one can imagine that his strength must be the leader. Lin Moi thought, if it was really him who took the source bird's corpse, even among the invincible powerhouses, his strength would be very terrifying. This matter remains to be discussed. Lin Moi is still unable to determine whether what he saw was the source bird's corpse, or just an illusion. However, it can be inferred from Antares's performance that the old man was very terrifying. Antares didn't even dare to say his name. He even said, "Don't even think about it." But the more he said so, the more curious Lin Moi became about the old man riding the green ox. The image of the old man involuntarily surfaced in his mind again. He seemed to possess an infinite magic, knowing full well that he shouldn't think about it, yet he couldn't help but recall it. "No, I can't think about it anymore." A sense of vigilance rose from the depths of his soul, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal seemed to sense something was wrong, emitting a loud dragon's roar. The giant tree of talent also swayed constantly, sending warnings. Lin Mo woke up with a start, his subconscious thoughts finally interrupted, and he finally stopped thinking about it. His soul power fluctuated unstably, even twisting his entire soul world slightly. His soul trembled, and Lin Mo felt waves of lingering fear. His strength was already vastly different from what it once was, yet he still couldn't help but imagine the old man's appearance. It was as if a deep mark had been branded into his memory, impossible to erase. This feeling was too terrifying. Forcing himself to calm down, Lin Mo shifted his attention to the 2 newly formed spells. These spells from the Origin rune were called Origin skills in the small world, and had another recognized name in the great world, Primal spells. Because they contained the power of the Origin, they were incomparably powerful. Power accumulation fusion degree 110% consumes soul power to enter a state of power accumulation. In this state, inherits the power and spells of all summons, breaking through the original level and unleashing power beyond the limit. The power accumulation state will continuously consume soul power. As soul power weakens, the power accumulation state will also continuously weaken. During this time, the power accumulation state can be maintained by killing creatures and obtaining their power. The power accumulation state places great pressure on the physical body and soul. Overuse may lead to self-destruction. The first thing he saw was the power accumulation spell. The spell had changed, with many differences from before. It had a higher degree of freedom than before, but the danger had also increased. Power accumulation was no longer restricted by the level of the soul, as if the shackles had been unlocked, and it could exert corresponding power according to Lin Mo's own will. The limit became the limit that Lin Mo's soul and body could withstand, as well as the number of summons. If he rashly used it without figuring out the upper limit he could withstand, he might explode and die on the spot. And it would be the kind of explosion where the physical body and soul exploded together. Of course, Lin Mo was not afraid of death. He didn't know how many times he had died along the way. He thought of his talent. If the duration could exceed 40 seconds, then what about exceeding the limit? He could be reborn again and again, using the power accumulation spell again and again. Lin Mo felt that he was very likely to transform into a desperate man, rushing forward desperately and fighting people for 300 rounds. Thinking about that scene, it seemed a little exciting. However, this kind of thing could be done occasionally, but doing it too much might put himself in danger. What are you thinking about? Why do you have to risk your life at every turn? He chuckled self-deprecatingly, shook off unrealistic thoughts, and turned to look at another primal spell. Strong Troops fusion degree 110% consumes soul power to enter a state of Strong Troops. In the Strong Troops state, increases all damage dealt by all summons by 10 times. The Strong Troops state will continuously consume soul power, and consumed soul power can be replenished by killing enemies. In the Strong Troops state, a portion of the obtained soul power can be absorbed and retained as one's own power. However, external soul power contains impurities and is best refined and purified before being absorbed. The Strong Troops spell didn't have too many restrictions. Its function was very pure, which was to increase all damage dealt by 10 times. This was different from the talent's 300-fold increase effect. The 300-fold increase was applied to one's own spells, while this 10-fold damage was applied to the target. A simple analogy is that if one was facing a rank 9 God King, one might only be able to deal 1 point of damage. Even if one's talent increased the power of the spell by 300 times, the opponent's defense was too strong, and the final damage might only increase from 1 point to 2 points, or 3 points. But if it was replaced with Strong Troops, even though he only dealt 1 point of damage, the damage displayed on the opponent was a real 10 points of damage. This was the difference, ignoring the target's defense. In addition, with the astonishing number of undead legions, the damage was dramatically increased. Moreover, Strong Troops like power accumulation could kill people to seize souls, obtain the enemy's power and soul to maintain the spell's duration. At the same time, strong troops could also permanently obtain a portion of the enemy's soul power to enhance one's own soul. It's just that the obtained mixed souls were not pure and contained impurities, which needed to be purified before they could be absorbed. Purification might be difficult for others, but for himself, it couldn't be easier. Whether it was the giant tree of talent or the 9-colored dragon soul crystal, both had the effect of purifying. After the two were added together, the soul power he obtained would be very pure. The two primal spells, which seemed to have not changed much on the surface, actually had very large internal changes. Both of these were spells that grew stronger with battle. As long as they were used well, he could use them to take his combat power to the next level. If he encountered the Abyss Dragon Demon again now, even if he didn't use the Black Star Beast leg, Lin Mo also had the confidence to confront him head-on. Chapter 1137. The Second Avatar of the Abyss Dragon Demon. Lin Mo let out a long breath. So far, all spells had been converted into stellar level. A full 27 blazing stars hung in the soul world. Either they were independent and aloof, or they were composed of multi-star spells, combining with each other. The entire soul world was shrouded in light, incomparably brilliant. On the contrary, the only planetary-level spell, the planet representing the soul calming art, looked a bit lonely, helpless, and without support. This planetary-level spell from the Antares inheritance could never be sublimated into a stellar-level spell unless there was a heaven-defying opportunity. The foundation was too weak, there was no way. In addition, among all the stellar-level spells, the most special was Infinite Fusion. The star representing Infinite Fusion was the most brilliant and mysterious of all the stars. It was high above, overlooking all spells as if it was reigning over the world. It seemed that it did not intersect with any spell and was proudly independent, but in fact, it was not the case. The chaos law turned into invisible lines, spreading out from it, almost wrapped around all spells. Even the strong troops and power accumulation, the two primal spells, were entangled by the chaos law. In Lin Mo's feeling, Infinite Fusion was like a commander, commanding all other spells. Even the two primal spells were inferior to it. Beside it, there were 3 small spell planets, like its satellites, constantly revolving around it. The 3 satellite-like spell planets were the 3 fusion spells, Curse of Time, Death Dragon Knight, and Skeleton God General. It was even more unique. Its existence represented infinite possibilities. Lin Mo's eyes swept over all the spells, and finally stayed on Infinite Fusion. For a few seconds, it seems that I have to find a chance to try to create my own fusion spell. The current 3 fusion spells were not strictly created by Lin Mo himself. Instead, Lin Mo learned them by imitating the system's spell demonstrations. Although they were very useful, Lin Mo knew clearly that these were not truly his own spells. He needed to create a fusion spell that truly belonged to him. But that was very difficult and required a lot of time for experimentation and testing. Lin Mo opened his eyes and felt the surging power coming from inside and outside his body. His realm had reached the 4th rank from the 3rd rank of True God, and he had made another huge leap. His combat power had greatly increased again. The Skeleton God General had truly possessed a combat power comparable to the 1st rank of God King. Under siege, he could completely kill the 2nd rank of God King. As for the strongest Skeleton King, Lin Mo believed that it could compete with the 4th rank of God King. The 4th rank of True God could fight against the 4th rank of God King. It was a bit incredible to think about it. It had never happened in the history of the great world. Zhu Qiwu still maintained his steady and serious expression. How is it? In fact, when he asked this question, he was already very clear that Lin Mo had succeeded. Otherwise, his strength would not have improved. The Chishui god Venerable next to him twitched the corner of his mouth, and secretly said in his heart, deliberately asking the obvious. Lin Mo bowed respectfully to Zhu Qiwu. Thank you, Senior Zhu, for protecting me. I have successfully absorbed the 9-colored fire lotus. Zhu Qiwu nodded. It's good that you absorbed it. He didn't continue to ask about the results. With outsiders present, it wasn't convenient to ask too much. Lin Mo glanced at the young man behind the Redwater god, slightly surprised, and muttered to himself, his injuries seem to be more severe. His soul is so weak, as if it suffered a heavy blow. Having part of his memory erased, it was normal for his soul to be traumatized. Looking at the Redwater god, his face didn't seem too good. It seemed that something interesting must have happened between them when he was absorbing the 9-colored fire lotus. Redwater god said in a deep voice, Town Guardian Zhu, if there's nothing else, we'll take our leave. Zhu Qiwu nodded. Senior Redwater, take care, and may we meet again. Redwater God smiled bitterly. It's better if we don't meet. Saying that, he quickly left with his junior. Zhu Qiwu looked at Lin Mo, his eyes showing some appreciation. Let's go too. Lin Mo nodded, and together with Zhu Qiwu, left in another direction. The two moved forward in the blue flames, and the temperature gradually decreased. Suddenly, the shell on Lin Mo's body lit up. Lin Mo took the shell in his hand. The shell didn't show any arrows, indicating it wasn't flashfire or flash star. Then, Yu Qingru's voice came from the shell. Where are you? The abyssal dragon demon has come to the essence fire source. Be careful. Lin Mo's heart tightened suddenly. The abyssal dragon demon had come to the essence fire source. Yu Qingru wouldn't lie. Since she was notifying him, it meant Yu Qingru had really seen the abyssal dragon demon. Could it be his main body has come? Could my judgment be wrong? Lin Mo guessed that a being like the abyssal dragon demon wouldn't easily risk his main body. Coming to the essence fire source would definitely be restricted. Even if his main body came, it might be dangerous. The greatest possibility was that he was lying in wait outside the essence fire source. But the war zone was so large and interconnected that it was impossible to lie in wait for him. Seeing that Lin Mo's face was a bit off, Zhu Qiwu asked, what happened? The sound from the shell could only be heard by Lin Mo. Lin Mo said in a deep voice, Senior Zhu should know that I killed the abyssal dragon demon in the 4th Stellar Essence Fire group. Zhu Qiwu naturally knew. He was about to take action at the time, but he didn't expect Lin Mo to counter-kill the opponent in a desperate situation. Lin Mo said in a low voice, I know that the abyssal dragon demon was probably just an avatar. Just now, Yu Qingru sent me a message saying that she saw the abyssal dragon demon again, and it seems to be coming here. Zhu Qiwu's brow also furrowed slightly. That old fellow, the abyssal dragon demon, has more than one avatar. The one coming this time should be another avatar. The demon race possessed the ability to create avatars, and the higher the realm of the demon, the more avatars they could create. 477 The demon race's avatars were different from the human race's avatars. Humans could also refine avatars, but they existed more in the form of puppets. They couldn't inherit their own spells and other attributes, and their strength depended on various materials. Strictly speaking, these avatars couldn't be considered true avatars. But the demon race's avatars were different. Their avatars were cultivated using their own flesh and blood, and they completely continued their spells and all other characteristics. The stronger they were, the stronger the avatars they cultivated. Similarly, the stronger they were, the more avatars they could cultivate. However, it wasn't completely without restrictions. Too many avatars would affect their own strength. At the same time, it would also reduce the quality of the avatars. So generally speaking, the demon race rarely had more than 3 avatars. Why are you so sure that it's the abyssal dragon demon's avatar that's coming, and not his main body? Lin Mo was very puzzled. Zhu Qiwu's attitude was too certain. He should know more profound things. Lin Mo wanted to compare Zhu Qiwu's words with his own guesses. Zhu Qiwu said, the abyssal dragon demon's realm is too high, his main body can't move easily, only his avatar can come. But even if it's an avatar, it's definitely stronger than the previous avatar. If I remember correctly, the abyssal dragon demon has 3 avatars. The one you killed before was his 3rd avatar, a God King Realm avatar. And the one coming this time should be the 2nd avatar, a God Venerate Realm avatar. Chapter 1138. Racial Classifications in the Great World. Lin Mo's heart skipped a beat. The 3rd avatar was a God King, and the 2nd avatar was a God Venerate. Then wouldn't the 1st avatar be even more powerful than a God Venerate? Lin Mo's eyes flickered, seemingly worried. Zhu Qiwu saw Lin Mo's worry. His 1st avatar died in battle a long time ago, so you don't have to worry. Ah, Lin Mo asked strangely, then didn't he replenish his 1st avatar? Zhu Qiwu chuckled, it's not that easy. If it could be replenished casually, wouldn't the demon race be too strong? What's more, in that battle, his main body was also severely injured. It's a blessing that he survived. Even now, he may not have recovered. With the abyssal dragon demon's strength, his 1st avatar died in battle, and his main body was severely injured and difficult to recover for many years. Obviously, that battle was very fierce. But in the records, there was no relevant information. Perhaps it was a conflict between the human race and the demon race. The two races were mortal enemies, and large and small conflicts often occurred. Perhaps it was one of them. Zhu Qiwu continued, but having said that, the demon race's ability to cultivate avatars is indeed very enviable. Our human race doesn't have this ability. Like this avatar of mine, it was actually refined through some special means, using some special materials. Strictly speaking, it can't be considered an avatar. It can only be considered a puppet. Lin Mo nodded, that is indeed the demon race's advantage. Yes, there are countless races in the great world, but from the perspective of avatars, only the dragon race is slightly better than the demon race. The two walked and talked. Zhu Qiwu's knowledge and information far exceeded Lin Mo's. He commented on several races in the great world that possessed the ability to cultivate avatars. Among them, the dragon race's avatar ability was the strongest, followed by the demon race. The third ranked was a special race called Ghoul Eaters. They also possessed powerful avatar abilities. Through Zhu Qiwu's words, Lin Mo had a direct understanding of several races in the great world that possessed avatar abilities. In summary, although the avatar was a very magical and useful ability, it didn't help the strength of the race much. No race would become a strong race because of avatars. A truly strong race needed to have top-level power within the race. When the power reached a certain level, quantity would lose its meaning. Seeing Zhu Qiwu so patient, Lin Mo displayed his shameless spirit and asked with a thick face, how exactly are the races in the great world classified in terms of strength? Since he came to the great world, he had personally seen in the data that there were already hundreds of races. But the accurate classification of the strength of races was still very vague. He only knew that this race was a strong race, but he didn't know why it was called a strong race. What was the definition of a strong race and a weak race? Zhu Qiwu chuckled, this question, you'll actually know when you reach level 5 permissions. It's all in the level 5 permission data. But since you asked, it's okay to tell you, it's not a secret anyway. The strength of the races in the great world can be divided into 3 levels: top-tier strong races, ordinary strong races, and ordinary races. The requirements for top-tier strong races are the highest. They need to have top-level experts in the race, have huge territories, and have a massive number of people. After Zhu Qiwu's explanation, Lin Mo finally understood the specific classification of the strength of various races in the great world. Like the human race and the demon race, which have top-level experts in the race, occupy vast territories, and have a massive population, they are top-tier strong races. Like the spark python he killed, it belonged to an ordinary strong race. It only had top-level experts in the race, but unfortunately, the occupied territory and the number of people didn't meet the standards, so it could only be called an ordinary strong race. Whether it was a top-tier strong race or an ordinary strong race, there was a rigid requirement, that was there had to be top-level experts in the race. This kind of top powerhouse is not in the God Venerable realm, but exists beyond the God Venerable realm. As for what realm is above the God Venerable realm, Zhu Qiwu didn't say, and Lin Mo didn't ask further. He is not qualified to know yet. As for ordinary races, there are no top powerhouses in the clan, no territory, and no population. The most crucial of these is the top powerhouse. If this item is missing, the other 2 are impossible to exist. If it really exists, it would be a disaster for the race. The butterfly race was like this in the past. The butterfly race had a large population, and although the territory was not large, it was not small either. But because there were no top powerhouses in the clan, the butterfly race was a piece of fat meat in the eyes of other powerful races, and they could come up and take a bite at any time. Some powerhouses even had bigger appetites and wanted to swallow the butterfly race in one go. Fortunately, they received help from the human race, allowing the butterfly race to escape disaster. Now, a top powerhouse surpassing the God Venerable has been born in the butterfly race, coupled with a considerable territory and a large population base. The butterfly race can also be considered to have entered the ranks of top powerful races, but it is a relatively weak branch among the top powerful races. But because of the existence of the human race, no race dares to come and cause trouble for the butterfly race again. After understanding the division of various races in the great world, Lin Mo asked, then where does our human race rank among all the races in the great world? Zhu Qiwu said with a smile, there is no specific ranking, we can only roughly estimate it. We should be among the best, within the top 10. There are countless races in the great world, and the human race can rank in the top 10, which is already very strong. However, these words also made Lin Mo slightly surprised. the human race occupies such a vast star field, with a population of more than hundreds of millions. And Lin Mo believed that within the human race, there must be more than one top powerhouse. Even so, they are only ranked in the top 10, he didn't know if Zhu Qiwu was too modest, or there were too many powerful races in the great world. Zhu Qiwu chuckled, don't disbelieve it, the water in the great world is very deep, what you see now is only a very small part. Just like the starry sky fish man princess who gave you the shell. Do you think the starry sky fish man race is strong? Lin Mo nodded unconsciously, it should be very strong. Zhu Qiwu laughed softly, the starry sky fish man race is also a top powerful race, their strength is no weaker than our human race. Moreover, they are very mysterious, and I suspect they are hiding power. In addition to these powerful races, there are many powerful starry sky beings in the great world, they are a race in themselves, and they are also very terrifying. Lin Mo thought of the starry sky giant tree, the strength of the starry sky giant tree is beyond doubt, it alone possesses the strength to destroy a race. The water in the great world is really deep, unfathomable. Lin Mo slightly changed his goal, it seems that he still can't be too proud. The two left Blue Flame Star in conversation. Not long after leaving Blue Flame Star, a portal suddenly appeared in the space in front of them. Yu Qingru walked out of the portal holding the starry sky pearl, with a hint of anxiety between her eyebrows, did you receive my message? Her tone was hurried, and she asked head-on as soon as they met. Lin Mo hummed, I saw it. You saw it and you're still not leaving. Yu Qingru glared angrily, seemingly blaming, but from her eyes, she could see concern. Lin Mo felt a warmth in his heart, I just received it not long ago. Originally, he wanted to say that there was no need to leave, but looking at Yu Qingru's concerned appearance, he changed his words. Yu Qingru said, then leave quickly, hopefully it's not too late. Suddenly, a strange aura descended, enveloping the starry sky. You don't have to leave. The huge voice, like thunder, came from all directions. Chapter 1139, all the avatars are dead. Yu Qingru's face changed drastically, and she couldn't help exclaiming, how could it be so fast, how could he accurately find us? Zhu Qiwu pointed to the starry sky pearl in Yu Qingru's hand, this pearl has the mark of the abyss dragon demon. Yu Qingru was suddenly shocked, it shouldn't be, I checked it carefully. Zhu Qiwu shook his head, the gap between your realms is too large, the mark made by the abyss dragon demon is not so easy to detect. Yu Qingru realized that she seemed to have been used. The abyss dragon demon should have deliberately let himself be discovered, and then she found Lin Mo through the shell and rushed over quickly. She didn't realize that the abyss dragon demon was following behind her. Yu Qingru's small face was twisted and ugly, but Lin Mo was not worried at all, but smiled lightly, it's really an old dragon becoming a spirit. With Zhu Qiwu by his side, he had nothing to worry about. Didn't he see Zhu Qiwu so calm, obviously not taking the second avatar of the abyss dragon demon seriously. Zhu Qingwu said calmly, some shameful means, nothing great. Shameless fellow, the voice of the abyss dragon demon sounded again. The voice came from all directions, echoing directly in the depths of the soul, making it impossible to distinguish the specific direction. But the next second, an abyss dragon demon with a body length of more than 100,000 meters had already appeared. Its whole body was wrapped in deep abyss fire, entrenched in the starry sky, only 1,000 meters away from Lin's 793 Moyu and others, looking even bigger than the stars. The terrifying pressure rushed head-on, making it difficult for Yu Qingru to breathe. Lin Mo stepped aside and stood in front of Yu Qingru, blocking the pressure for Yu Qingru. Yu Qingru looked at Lin Mo's back, her eyes complicated. At this moment, Lin Mo was like a high mountain, sheltering her from the wind and rain. The abyss dragon demon was very strong, and under his soul lock, even if Yu Qingru had the starry sky pearl and also mastered the laws of space, she was not sure of escaping. Clearly at the edge of Blue Flame Star, the suppression of the great world laws here was the strongest. But the abyss dragon demon seemed to have no feeling, it still possessed at least the strength of the 8th rank of the God King, or even the 9th rank of the God King. The abyss dragon demon was like this before, ignoring the suppression of the great world laws, and it was even more so this time. Yu Qingru didn't understand why, how he did it. Lin Mo could probably guess a part, the reason why the abyss dragon demon could exempt part of the suppression power was mainly because of the source spell. There may also be a part because its body is too strong, it is a top powerhouse surpassing the god Venerable. The avatar can borrow a part of the body's power, and the combination of the two achieves the current effect. Other god venerables would be suppressed to the peak of the true god. But he was little affected, still maintaining strong combat power. Boy, destroying this venerable's plan, killing this venerable's avatar, seizing this venerable's treasure. Tell me, how do you want to die? But no matter what you choose, this venerable will put your soul in the abyss fire and roast it for 10,000 years. The abyss dragon demon obviously had great resentment towards Lin Mo. He no longer simply wanted to kill Lin Mo, but wanted to torture Lin Mo for 10,000 years without rest. Lin Mo said in a low voice, "Isn't it just killing the third avatar? Is there a need for such a big resentment?" Zhu Qiwu laughed softly. "If it were before, it wouldn't matter if you killed his third avatar. An avatar of the God King realm is not difficult to cultivate. But it's different now. His body is injured, the first avatar has fallen, and he has no ability to cultivate new avatars for the time being, so each avatar has become extremely precious." That's indeed the case, Lin Mo could understand. Yu Qingru, however, was listening like she was reading a book from heaven, not understanding what they were talking about at all. What is the identity of this old man beside Lin Mo? He looks ordinary, she doesn't recognize him. The abyss dragon demon looked at Zhu Qiwu. "Who are you? Why do you know these things?" Zhu Qiwu ignored him, but continued to say to Lin Mo, "I am very interested, what would be the reaction if all his avatars died? Whether the body dares to move or not." While speaking, Zhu Qiwu's aura climbed steadily, soaring straight into the sky like a rocket. Quickly breaking through the true God realm, then breaking through the God King realm, reaching the God Venerable. And it was not an ordinary God Venerable first rank, at least reaching the God Venerable 5th rank, or even 6th rank before stopping. Zhu Qiwu's God Venerable aura not only dispelled the Abyss Dragon Demon's pressure, but instead surged back, suppressing the Abyss Dragon Demon. The abyss fire on the Abyss Dragon Demon's body jumped violently, representing the unrest in his heart. He shouted, "Who exactly are you?" Zhu Qiwu asked, "That's not important, what's important is that your last avatar is also going to die." Saying that, myriad starlight flew from the distant starry sky and gathered in Zhu Qiwu's hands. These starlight looked a little different, containing the power of powerful laws. This was not Zhu Qiwu's main body, but just one of his avatars. The human race's avatars are more like puppets, unable to inherit the main body's spells and talents. All that can be used is the main body's laws. The current situation is like this: Zhu Qiwu did not use any spells, but only used the laws. The God Venerable's laws, the degree of control has long reached 100%. Their laws are gathered from branches and streams into rivers, truly entering the Law Galaxy, becoming a member of the Law Galaxy. They can truly mobilize the power in the Law Galaxy. Lin Moyu could feel that Zhu Qiwu's laws were very powerful, but he didn't know what laws Zhu Qiwu was using. He saw Zhu Qiwu strike the Abyss Dragon Demon with a palm. Starlight gathered into a brilliant giant palm, whistling towards the Abyss Dragon Demon. The speed of the giant palm was not fast, it could even be said to be extremely slow. But the Abyss Dragon Demon was like being casted a body-fixing spell, with fear in its eyes, standing still waiting for the giant palm to arrive. No. No. In the Abyss Dragon Demon's frightened eyes, the giant palm slowly flew over 1,000 meters, flying over the Abyss Dragon Demon's body. The giant palm disappeared into the dark starry sky, and the Abyss Dragon Demon's huge body also collapsed. It did not collapse bit by bit, but turned into sand, as fine as dust. Accompanied by a burst of blue flame sparks, the Abyss Dragon Demon's corpse was blown into the starry sky. Lin Moyu reached out and grabbed a handful of the Abyss Dragon Demon's fragmented corpse. After carefully sensing it, although it had been broken into sand, it still belonged to the corpse, and the corpse explosion could still be used. This is a good thing. The second avatar's own realm is the God Venerable realm, and it is also the second order of the God Venerable. If it is used to cast corpse explosion, it is estimated that it can blow up a third order God Venerable powerhouse. Lin Moyu carefully collected these sand-like corpses. With it in hand, he had the confidence to face the God Venerable directly. Yu Qingru was already stunned, her sexy and moving lips trembling. "It's dead just like that." Zhu Qiwu seemed to have done a trivial thing, and the aura on his body also rapidly decreased, and in a blink of an eye, he became an inconspicuous old man again. Zhu Qiwu looked at Yu Qingru. "Little girl, let the old man see the starry sky pearl." Where did Yu Qingru dare to disagree, respectfully sending the starry sky pearl to Zhu Qiwu. Zhu Qiwu watched for a while. It is said that the Starry Sky Pearl is the treasure of your Starry Sky Merman clan, and later it was accidentally lost. This time, it was finally recovered after being lost. Saying that, he reached out and wiped it on the Starry Sky Pearl. Okay, the Dragon Old Demon's mark has been eliminated, and he will not be able to find you through the Starry Sky Pearl in the future. Chapter 1140. Should we consider a marriage alliance? In the terrifying world enveloped by the flames of the abyss, the eyes of the abyss dragon demon reopened. Damn it, Shattering Star Law, how could it be Shattering Star Law? This deity remembers your aura. After this deity recovers, I will definitely slaughter your entire family. The abyss dragon demon roared frantically, and with its roar, the demons in this world trembled, not daring to move. But still a large number of demons were killed by its roar, turning into nourishment for its recovery. The huge head protruded from the flames of the abyss, and it could be seen that there was a terrifying depression on the other side of the head. Half of the dragon's head was shattered. And at the wound, there was a tyrannical force entangling, making it impossible for his injury to recover for a long time. These forces not only eroded the wound, but also eroded the soul. Those demons that were swallowed, for the abyss dragon demon, could only be regarded as a drop in the bucket, not of much use. After the abyss dragon demon roared for a while, it shrank back again. The hatred in its eyes was already overwhelming. This world returned to calm again. Zhu Qiwu had no idea that the abyss dragon demon's main body could not move at all, so he did not hesitate to kill the abyss dragon demon's clone. As the main controller of the human race in this war zone, from the 1st to the 10th, 10 starry sky fortresses can be said to be under its control. Just now, he borrowed the power of 10 starry sky fortresses to break through the limitations of the Great World Law. Although there was only one blow of power, and spells could not be used. But to deal with the abyss dragon demon, who was also suppressed by the Great World Law, it was more than enough. Zhu Qiwu returned the Starry Sky Pearl to Yu Qingru, and retreated to the side, not being a third wheel. Zhu Qiwu left Lin Moyu and Yu Qingru alone. In the silent starry sky, the two seemed a little awkward. Lin Moyu was grateful to Yu Qingru in his heart. Although Yu Qingru's strength was very strong, it would still be dangerous to come to the Essence Fire origin. So Yu Qingru had been searching in the 4th Star's Essence Fire group, and had not left. But for himself, she came without hesitation. Lin Moyu remembered this kindness. After a few seconds of silence, Lin Moyu spoke first. Thank you for coming to inform me. Yu Qingru said in a low voice, I didn't know that the abyss dragon demon would track you down, I almost harmed you. Lin Moyu shook his head and smiled, it's not that easy for him to kill me, have you found the best essence fire? Yu Qingru's pretty face collapsed immediately, I found the 5-colored essence fire before, but it failed. I can only blame this princess's spells for being too strong, the 5-colored essence fire is not enough, I must have the 6-colored or 7-colored essence fire. Now there is no way, I can only wait for this princess to become a god king in the future and then come back to find it. Yu Qingru glanced at the essence fire origin, the star essence fire here was too fierce, she was very dangerous here. If it wasn't for notifying Lin Moyu this time, she wouldn't have come even if she was beaten to death. While speaking, a faint light flashed on Yu Qingru's body, as if a layer of glass was broken. Immediately afterwards, the clothes on Yu Qingru's body began to burn. Yu Qingru exclaimed, and immediately took out a small white pearl and crushed it. A stream of water covered her whole body, and at the same time extinguished the flames. Yu Qingru said, this is indeed not a place where I can stay now, I'm leaving. She was able to stay here for a while only by relying on pearls, but she couldn't stay for too long. Without pearls, the scorching heat alone would be enough to burn her to death. Wait a minute, Lin Moyu stopped her. Yu Qingru smiled like a flower, what's wrong? Is there anything else you need this princess to help with? You haven't paid back the favor you owed me before, I'm afraid you're going to owe me again this time. Lin Moyu chuckled, how many essence fires are you missing? Yu Qingru stretched out her posture and smiled even more brightly, what, do you want to give this princess essence fire? Lin Moyu nodded and asked again, how many are you missing? Yu Qingru stretched out 3 fingers, 3. Lin Moyu hummed, I know, you go back to the 4th Star's Essence Fire group and wait for me, I'll come to you when I find the Essence Fire. Yu Qingru's eyes lit up, really? Really? Okay, this princess will trust you this time. Saying that, Yu Qingru activated the Starry Sky Pearl, and a space door appeared in front of her, and Yu Qingru stepped into it and disappeared. Zhu Qiwu flew from a distance. You're done chatting so soon. The old man thought you young people would chat for a while longer. Lin Moyu smiled. Thank you, senior, for your help just now. Zhu Qiwu waved his hand. It's a trivial matter, not worth mentioning. Now that your spells have been sublimated, are you going back? Lin Moyu said. I promised Yu Qingru to help her find 3 7-colored essence fires, so I may need to stay here for a while. Zhu Qiwu smiled meaningfully. A hero can't resist the charms of a beauty. Lin Moyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How did this serious and upright senior suddenly become improper? 0A seeking fresh flowers 00. What I didn't expect was that Zhu Qiwu's improper was not limited to this. He continued, boy, would you like to consider a marriage alliance with the princess of the Starry Sky Merman clan? It is said that the Starry Sky Fishmen are very special. Zhu Qiwu spoke with a straight face, but Lin Mo's feeling was that he was an old rascal. This senior seems a bit two-faced. Lin Mo muttered in his heart, but dared not show it on his face. Senior, I and Yu Qingru are not in that kind of relationship. Zhu Qiwu chuckled. I'm serious, many races want to marry the Starry Sky Fishmen. This race is indeed very special. Their physique is special. After forming a Taoist couple, it can increase the speed of cultivation. It's just a pity that the woman is a princess of the Starry Sky Fishmen, with a noble status, and she also controls the law of space. ... 00. It's probably difficult to get her to marry over, but if you marry into their family, the human race won't let you leave. But it's not impossible. Zhu Qiwu's chatterbox was opened again, really like an old man, starting to ramble. Lin Mo was helpless and could only let him talk, flying towards the stellar essence fire cluster. He was going to look for the 7-colored essence fire. Even though he had promised Yu Qingru, he still had to find the 3 7-colored essence fires. In addition, he had to look for flash fire, and look for flash stars on the way back. The spells had indeed all sublimated, but his physical body was far from its limit and could continue to improve. Now that he had come to the essence fire source, where there were the most flash fires and the best effects, he naturally couldn't let it go. Without knowing when, Zhu Qiwu's nagging stopped. He seemed to have thought of many ways, but all had their shortcomings. Lin Mo was full of helplessness. He had already heard that this senior didn't want to play matchmaker for him at all. He simply wanted to push Yu Qingru and himself together. The purpose was not for them to become Taoist couples, but to use the special physique of the Starry Sky Fishmen to enhance his own strength. In the end, he was still considering the human race. Zhu Qiwu even thought of kidnapping Yu Qingru. The question was how to do it without being discovered by the Starry Sky Fishmen, and making it watertight. Lin Mo was really speechless. This senior didn't seem to care much about something called a bottom line. This time, he was lucky. It only took 10 days to collect the 3 7-colored essence fires. Then Lin Mo began to look for flash fire here, and began to strengthen his physical body. 0.